What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Friday to you all. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios. Appreciate you making us a part of your start if you are already up and at it, whether you're tuning in on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You've got your Alexa devices, your smart devices, your smart speakers, all that jazz. The app, download it, take it on the go. Video stream up and rolling here too on the Man Cave channel on YouTube. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? Got lots to hit up. Brewers picking up a win yesterday to win the series against the Padres, a 7-1 victory. Brewers putting up 6 runs in the first 2 innings, 3 apiece, giving Kyle Harrison some early run support. And Kyle Harrison picking up his 4th win on the season. He went 5 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 7 Ks to lower his ERA to a 2.09. Niner. But Kyle Harrison off to a fantastic start to begin this season. Terrain collected a hit and got on a couple times via the walk. You had Luis Rengifo picking up a couple more hits, staying hot at the plate. Vaughn a couple hits. Mitchell a couple hits. It was the bottom of the order really kind of kick it in the gear yesterday too. So, but now we get a little bit of a border battle here as the Brewers will be playing not far from us. I'm sure quite a few of our listeners might be heading on over to Minnesota to watch Brewers versus Twins. That series will begin tonight. So just as a reminder, in case you have an old schedule, the game time did move up a little bit. So 6:10 is first pitch. And the Brewers will be going up against Joe Ryan tonight. So we'll recap yesterday's W and take a look at this matchup. But we are 1 quarter through the season. After this series, it is time to submit your grades, Brewers fans. How would you grade the first quarter of this Brewers season? How would you grade the first quarter? And maybe give me a first quarter MVP, offense. Okay, how about this? Instead of MVP, first quarter, best position player, best pitcher, most improved, or maybe most surprising. Hey, dang, that dude surprised me. And the player that's, they're in restricted study hall and they need to do some they need to do some improvement. I think we might all be on the same page with whoever we're thinking of, but hey, never know. So start to hit me up with those texts and thoughts. All right, that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line is up 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the Section 105 chat on YouTube. So plenty of baseball, plenty of Brewers chat to hit up. So also, we got a schedule. Check your schedules, peeps. Packers schedule is officially out, or whoever you are a fan of. What stood out to you from the schedule release for the Packers yesterday? I've got a few things, but just to recap, Packers will be opening up the season on the road for the first 2 weeks. They're going to be at Minnesota week 1, at the Jets week 2, short week, home opener Thursday night against Atlanta, back on the road against Tampa Bay. So 3 of their first 4 games going to be on the road, but it helps. It catches up towards the back end here. I'll get to that here in a second. Then week 5, Chicago at home at Lambeau. Sunday night football against the Dallas Cowboys week 6. At Detroit week 7. Carolina, another Thursday night game. Okay, both Thursday night games at Lambeau Field. Then you're at New England. home against the Vikings November 15th. Deer hunters rejoice because they have a bye on the opening weekend of deer hunting season. Yes. All right. So bye week 11, and then that Wednesday night game before Thanksgiving. You'll be out of the woods by then. Maybe you're cutting some deer before Thanksgiving, but got the Rams there, and then at New Orleans for week 13. Sunday Night Football, week 14, home against Buffalo, and then home against Miami right after that. Then that Christmas Day game, week 16 at Chicago. Home Monday night, week 17 against the Houston Texans. Home to wrap up the season, week 18 against the Lions. So even though Green Bay opens up 3 of the 4 on the road, they will finish 4 of their last 5 games at the friendly confines of Lambeau Field, with their lone road game being that one at Chicago. So not really a whole lot of travel from December 13th through the either January 9th or 10th, because that Lions game will either be Saturday, January 9th or Sunday, January 10th. So what else stood out to you? I got a couple more things that I want to get to, but if you are one that is not a fan of streaming and you don't have a lot of streaming services, you're probably not going to like the schedule, since you got 2 Thursday games, which are going to be on Amazon Prime, and then you got the 2 Netflix games. So, yeah, that's at least 4. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, but that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. So, but we'll take a look at this, and of course, 17-0. I don't want to do schedule predictions. Okay, we're in May. I don't want to do wins, losses, that sort of thing, because there's a lot of stuff that could be continuing to transpire, if you will, before the season begins. So, but we'll talk a little bit about this. Give me your reaction. Give me your thoughts on how the schedule fell for the Green and Gold. We won't have an Inside the Training Room. Doc is unavailable. Doc is out of the office today, so we will not have an Inside the Training Room, but we will have Brandon Berg joining us coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. So we will do a little local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Get the latest and greatest in terms of some of the prep sports out there. So Brandon will break it all down for us. We will play a little Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, brought to you by AJM Automotive, 2 locations in Eau Claire. And then we'll play a little Cream of the Crop, the normal drill that we do every Friday morning. So that's kind of your game plan for us this morning, and whatever shenanigans we may get on, because it's a Friday and you never know what could happen at this point in time. So, but all right, let's get things going here this morning, shall we? Let's talk some Brewers. Let's talk some Packers schedule. And let's get things going here this morning. Lots to hit up. I'm curious. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. First quarter grades on the Brewers. Who was the most impressive position player? Most impressive. Let's cut out the word best. Let's go most impressive, like A on a roll, defense, or position player, and then pitcher. Could be starter, could be bullpen. And then the player that needs the most improvement. And then give me your letter grade overall from the team. Okay? And then give me your thoughts on this Packers schedule. Let's take our first break and the leadoff as we kick things off on this Friday morning. We'll be right back after these quick words. Sunshine, road trips, and summer adventures are calling. Is your vehicle ready? At AGM Automotive in Eau Claire, they'll make sure that you hit the road with confidence. From AC checks and oil changes to brakes and full inspections, AGM Automotive has you covered before the heat kicks in. With 2 convenient Eau Claire locations, expert service is always just around the corner. So don't let car trouble slow you down or slow down your summer plans. Schedule your appointment today by visiting AJMAutomotiveServices.com. AJM Automotive, keeping you cool, safe, and road trip ready all summer long. Let's get things going here on the leadoff. Brew Crew picking up a 7-1 victory against the Padres yesterday. Offense giving some early run support for Kyle Harrison. Luis Rengifo, we were talking a little bit about him yesterday, continuing this nice stretch that he has been putting together from the plate. And, those had that big hit in the first inning to get a couple of runs across the board here for the for the Brewers and such. So, but Harrison was also solid from the mound, going 5 innings, striking out 7, didn't issue a single walk either. I mean, you take a look at this. So, first of all, very successful homestand for the Brewers, right? I mean, going 5-1. To go 5-1 against the Yankees and the Padres at home, taking advantage of being at home, but 5-1 against teams that at that time, I mean, they were at the top of their division. That was fantastic. I mean, major tip of the cap to the Crew for a very successful homestand. I mean, they were like inches. And I say inches because if that ball is a little bit lower, Bryce Ring's a little bit taller, they were inches from going undefeated in this homestand against the Yankees and the Padres. If it wasn't for that Game 2 against the Padres and that home run in the 9th, that close. Still a successful homestand these last 6 games. But you look at Luis here, 3 RBIs yesterday in his last 7 games. Okay, those last 7 games. Luis is hitting .320. Still isn't really slugging because, I mean, he hasn't had a home run or anything like that, but he is producing at the plate. He is getting on base. In his last 25 at-bats, he has 8 hits, 4 RBIs. He's only struck out twice, and he's also walked 3 times. And his last 3 games have been multiple hits. Multiple hits. Through 2, 3, 2. So he, so far in the month of May, is hitting .303 and on base of a .378. And that's coming off of a month of April where he was just .194. So he has been playing very well as of late, too. So got to give him a ton of credit. But Harrison here, let's go back to the pitching here for a second. You want to take a look at some of these youngsters who are playing incredibly well as of late, and they were a big part of why they had a successful homestand. Check this out, all right? Combined stats from a 6-game homestand, 1.95 ERA. A 1.95 ERA, 45 Ks between Kyle Harrison, Jacob Mizorowski, Brandon Sproat, and Logan Henderson. The kids are getting it done. Getting it done. This Kyle Harrison cat, I know we've talked about him off and on, but man, it sure looks like the Brewers got themselves another stud pitcher. And right now, early leaders in the clubhouse for that trade that sent Caleb Durbin over to the Red Sox. And I'm not trying to be negative on Caleb Durbin, but you look at what he's having so far this season in 134 ABs, he's just hitting 172. OPS with just a 509. And the thought, again, was that maybe the Brewers thought that Durbin had hit his peak, or what he did last year. I shouldn't say hit his peak because he's young, but maybe overperformed to the expectations and such. So maybe try to sell high on him. And then what are they going to return? This young pitcher that has a ton of potential, and right now we're seeing that potential full display with Kyle Harrison. He may be young. He's got a few. I mean, you spent some time with the Giants, a little bit with the Red Sox. He's only 24, but, man, he pitches like a veteran out there. Between him and Mizorowski, these two, let's go, baby. You throwing a little Logan Henderson. Ooh. Yeah. I feel really good about these Brewers pitchers. Man, I feel really good with where they're at. DL Hall only pitched an inning in the game yesterday too, but this is another guy. We talk a lot about Aaron Ashby, right? We talk a lot about what he has been able to provide coming out of the bullpen and such. But you look at DL Hall too, not to completely get overshadowed. He doesn't have a win. He doesn't have those wins like an Aaron Ashby has. But he has pitched in 18 games, 20 innings, 22 strikeouts, and he has only given up a total of 4 runs this season. 3 in the month of April, and they were back-to-back games. But he started off the season not giving up a single earned run. Only 1 home run. That is it. 1.80 ERA. And another guy that can give you a little bit of length coming out of the pen. So while Aaron Ashby has been pitching incredibly well, he's getting a lot of the attention because, well, I mean, look at the wins, right? You look at the wins that he is racking up here. DL Hall, don't overlook what he has meant to this ball club too, coming out of the pen. And Ashby and Hall at one times were thought as starters. We'll see what the future kind of holds for them going forward. But right now, they are key pieces, incredibly valuable pieces within this bullpen, within this pitching staff for this entire team. So, first quarter is officially in the books. How should we grade it? How should we grade the first quarter of this Brewers season? Who gets the props for, and we'll do pitcher and position player here, but most impressive pitcher, most impressive position player, maybe most, I don't want to say, I guess we could say most improved, or maybe most surprising. Who is a player that you're like, dang, I'm kind of surprised how well they're doing so far in the first quarter? Props to him. And who needs to go to restricted study hall? Anybody had to do that? I had to do it 1 quarter. I'll admit it. Little confession. 1 quarter I had to. I got a little lazy in math. But who's got to go to restricted study hall? I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. And got to get the grades up and got to perform better. Who is that? Who's that player? We probably all have the same position player. And let's keep it position player and pitcher. A little separate here. 1 for each. Just make it a little bit more simple. I think we know the position player. It's probably Joey Ortiz, right? So if it's Joey Ortiz for you, maybe come at me with another one. All right, maybe think of another one. If it's Joey Ortiz, who's the other person? Or maybe you don't have Joey Ortiz and you have somebody else. And then as we get set for quarter 2, which we're going to say officially starts tonight against the Twins, or what is the biggest concern you have heading into quarter number 2? Brewers begin this 3-game series tonight, going up against the Twins. Got Joe Ryan on the mound. Officially, it's still a little TBD for the Brewers, or TBA to be announced and such. But sure seems like maybe Chad Patrick's going to be involved in that. Maybe a short start or whatever have you. But Aaron Ashby did not pitch yesterday either, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's sort of a combination of all that. So, but when we look at this start going up against Joe Ryan, you got some Brewers players here with a fairly sizable amount of experience, 2-3 games worth, depending on who you're looking at. And Luis, who is playing really well, as we were just mentioning, in 8 career at-bats, he is .375 against Joe Ryan, .819 OPS, so maybe he can continue that hot streak. Vaughn in 12 career at-bats is just .167 with a .481 OPS. You've got Ortiz, 7 career at-bats, .143 and a .286. Hamilton, 5 career at-bats, hitting .400 with a .900 OPS. Jackson Cheerio in 5 career at-bats, 3 RBIs, .400, 1.371 OPS. And then Contreras, 7 ABs, .143, .411. By the way, Christian Yelich, 4 career at-bats, just a .200 OPS, no average. Terang, 8 career at-bats, .125 and a .250 OPS. Same with Sal Frelick. So they're a little familiar with Joe Ryan, even though he's in the American League here. Joe Ryan, by the way, 2-3 with a 3.43 ERA so far in the season, but he's coming off of you look at his last 3 games, or I should say last 3 appearances here, because Toronto, he only went a third of an inning there. But his last one against Cleveland back on the 9th, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. And then if we ignore the Toronto one, the 28th against Seattle, he got charged with the loss, but it was a quality start. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, just 1 walk. All right, let's talk some first quarter grades, shall we? We'll take a quick break, and we'll break it all down. We'll fill out our report cards coming up after these quick words. Summer is here, or it's almost here, and that means it's time to get out in the great outdoors to make some memories and be ready for whatever the season brings. That's where Tilden Gun comes on in. Whether you are gearing up for some target practice, heading to the range, or preparing for your next adventure, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to get you set up right. From firearms and ammunition to accessories and safety gear, they've got everything that you need, all backed by knowledgeable service that you can trust. At Tilden Gun, it's not just about what you buy. It's about making sure that you feel confident, informed, and ready every single time that you head on out. So this summer, don't just enjoy the great outdoors. Be prepared for it. Stop by Tilden Gun today and see why they are a trusted name for shooters and outdoor enthusiasts alike. All right, so first quarter, we're calling it in the books for the Brew Crew. Give me your letter grades for the overall team and where they're at right now. Give me most impressive position player, most impressive pitcher, the player that needs some improving, pitcher, position player as well. All right. So just to kind of look at where things are at standings-wise, Brewers second in the division right now, chasing those Cubbies of Chicago. Brewers are 2.5 games back of the Cubs. They're both the Brewers and the Cardinals are 2.5 back, but the Brewers holding a very slight advantage over the Cardinals in terms of win percentage. Brewers 585. Cardinals 581 win percentage. So, but I'm probably around BB plus for an overall letter grade for the Brewers. It's just maybe you look at, I think they've weathered the injuries very well. They are getting a ton of great production from their pitchers, especially their younger pitchers. Maybe, a thing to knock them down a little bit is, are they suffering a little bit in the power department and the home run department? Yeah, I mean, they're down there. But, is that the biggest question mark? Is that the biggest weakness on this team? You look at the left side of the infield. So we've mentioned a few times now, Luis has been playing better at that third base spot, but there's probably still some questions surrounding shortstop. Joey Ortiz, David Hamilton. Hamilton at least gets on via the bunt and can steal some bases, but it's probably a big question mark. Other than that, maybe you're looking at Yelich and saying, okay, is this back issue going to be a thing that he's going to have to deal with throughout the rest of the season? I mean, that's definitely a question I would say if we had our biggest question heading into the second quarter. I'd throw that up there for consideration. That'd definitely be a top one. My other question would be, are we going to see Cooper Pratt in the second quarter of the season and taking over that starting shortstop spot? But letter grade, I'm probably at like BB plus. Most impressive position player. You could go Contreras. You could go with. I'm going Terang. I'm riding the Terang train right now. The continued improvement of what he has done from the offensive side of things is it still continues to kind of amaze me. I mean, he is the team leader in OPS, 933. He is tied for the most home runs. He has the most runs scored. He has the highest batting average, and he's got the most RBIs. He is one off from Contreras for the most hits on the team. The most impressive position player for me in the first quarter of the season has been Bryce Terray, and he has lived up to, I think, a lot of the expectations. He has continued from his World Baseball Classic appearance to just play at an incredibly high level. We know what he brings from the defensive side, but he is an offensive threat now. Doesn't matter if he's hitting leadoff, the 2 spot, the 3 spot, the cleanup. He has produced, and he has continued to produce throughout this whole season. Pitcher is interesting now because I think you can make the case when you look at starters and bullpen for a few different guys. Aaron Ashby has been awesome in the first quarter. Very, 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 very pivotal in terms of what he has meant to this team coming into the game from the pen. There's no question. We mentioned a little DL Hall. Kyle Harrison has been off to a really good start. But, man, I got to go Jacob Mizorowski. I mean, call it recency effect, call it whatever you want, but what the Miz has been able to do so far this season has been super impressive, insanely impressive. And it feels like every time now he makes the start, you're just shaking your head like, oh, he did another great thing. He did another amazing thing. And, gosh, but if you want to go with like an Aaron Ashby or somebody else for the most impressive pitcher so far this year, I can't argue with you too much, but I'm going to go with Mizorowski, the Miz kid, for my selection. In terms of position player that maybe a little bit more, maybe was a surprise, I might go a little Bowers. I might go Bowers here. Tied for the team lead in home runs. Obviously had a lot of playing time with the Andrew Vaughn injury. He is second in OPS at 817. He is second in runs scored on this team. Third in batting average at 268. Fourth in RBIs. Third in total hits. So I think for me, position player-wise, most surprising, I'd go Bowers. Very close, I'd probably go Lockridge. Because Brandon Lockridge was playing really well too, up until the injury. But right now, I'd go slight advantage to Jake Bowers, considering his production came when Jackson Churio was missing time, Andrew Vaughn, Yelich went out with injury, Bowers, and you could throw Gary Sanchez too if you want for a little power. He's got 5 home runs. But you look at across the board in terms of team numbers and such, I got to go with Bowers because he has filled in very nicely from an offensive standpoint. Pitcher-wise, this is where maybe you can go in Aaron Ashby for what he's been doing, like the most surprising. I think a lot of people will go Kyle Harrison, and I think that might be the right pick if I had to pick one. I was high on Kyle Harrison coming into this, and I think it's because I was buying into the hype and the excitement surrounding him. I mean, you look at a 4-1 record and just a little shade over 2 ERA. Of course, I didn't think that was going to happen. So, yeah, that's probably the pick is Kyle Harrison. But I am going to throw in DL Hall for consideration. Because what DL Hall has done out of the bullpen, too, again, Aaron Ashby, I think, is overshadowing a lot of it, and rightfully so. But DL Hall has been really good coming out of the pen, too. So I'll go Harrison, but right behind him is DL Hall and Aaron Ashby as maybe the most surprising pitchers so far this season. And I guess for the shortest, maybe do you throw a little Coleman Crow in there too, even though he only had 1 start. But, man, that was insanely impressive too. The players, position player, and the pitcher that needs the most improvement, it's Joey Ortiz for a position player. But if we were going to pick somebody else besides Joey Ortiz, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go with my guy, Sal Frelick. I think heading into the second quarter now, I want to see a little bit more from an offensive standpoint from my dude. I still love him. He's still my guy. But when you look at what he has done from the plate this year, yeah, he's got 3 home runs already, but just 225, a 621 OPS, a 311 on base percentage. Yesterday he struck out 3 times. I need my guy to boost up those numbers just a little bit more. Only one stolen base this year for Frelick too. But Joey Ortiz, Sal Frelick. I need to see some improvements heading into the second quarter. Pitcher wise, Brandon Sproat's kind of been all over the place, up and down and such. I might go Chad Patrick, and I think Chad Patrick is going to be better suited coming out of the pen. So I think that in itself is going to be a nice change of pace for him. He may get some spot starts, including this weekend and that. But I might go a little Chad Patrick. I mean, numbers aren't awful by any means. A 3.06 ERA. And maybe it's just because we have set the bar so incredibly high because of what we've seen these youngsters do. But maybe I'd throw him in there. Quinn Priester hasn't made his debut yet, but I think, with his rehab and the command issues and such, you'd probably throw him in there. So, yeah, I'll probably go a little Quinn Priester. And I know he was injured and such, so that maybe not be fair. So, it's Patrick and Quinn Priester between those guys for me. All right, those are my grades. What are your grades? You can hit us up. Let us know. All right, let's wrap up the first hour talking a little schedule release. Whether you are a Packers fan or a fan of another team, what stood out to you about your favorite team's schedule? Anything really kind of like, oh, wow, okay. Or what's just your general analysis and reaction from it all? We'll take a quick break as we wrap up the first hour. We'll be right back after these quick words. Dings, dents, or something more serious? Don't stress about it. Just head on over to Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they're your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So, when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. That's Superior Auto Body, our official Backyard Dreams partners. Packers and all the other 31 teams in the NFL, their schedule getting released yesterday. What stood out to you for your favorite team? Whether it's Packers or somebody else. Hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. The long rumor that, I shouldn't say long because it was kind of a 24-hour rumor, but we get Packers Bears for Christmas, which hopefully don't have to spend Christmas with the Bears fan in your life. Or unless the Packers win, and then it's an awesome Christmas, right? But anyways, what stood out to you when it came to your favorite team's schedule? I've got a few things when it comes to the Packers schedule. One, in no particular order in this thing, but perfect, absolutely perfect for the deer hunter in your life. A Week 11 bye. By the way, I always feel like they play Minnesota around this time, too, because they play the Vikings. I feel like a lot of times they play the Vikings on the opening weekend of deer gun season. This year, it's the week before, but they get a bye for the opener. All right. No coming out of the deer stand early, maybe watching on your phone and then missing a deer go by, whatever the case may be. Although, maybe I kind of miss it now, though, too, because I can watch it on my phone and makes the time go by just a little bit quicker. But regardless, you don't have that stress out. And then we know the Wednesday game before Thanksgiving, Wednesday night. So really, there's not a game that kind of interferes too much with the deer gun season. So, numero one. Another thing that stood out to me, Packers will play 4 of their last 5 games at home, at Lambeau Field. The lone road game is that Christmas Day game against the Chicago Bears. Otherwise, Week 14, Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. Week 15, Miami Dolphins. Warm weather team coming up on December 20th. Then that Christmas Day game. And then the Texans coming in for Monday Night Football, a late Monday Night Football game. This is the only one for the Packers. Week 17 with the Texans. Then the Lions are coming to Lambeau Field to wrap up the season. So, even though the Packers, their first 4 weeks of the season, 3 of the 4 will be on the road, they will wrap up with 4 games, 4 of their last 5 games at home. And their one lone trip is just a little south to Chicago. Only one division game through the first 4 weeks of the season. That's that opener at Minnesota. I think that is a big win, a big plus for Green Bay, with the assumption that Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft won't be available or won't play Week 1. If they start the season on the PUP list with the new PUP rules, they will be eligible to come back and play in time for that Week 5 game against Chicago. So only having one division game in the first 4 weeks of the season, I think, is a plus for Green Bay. The other thing that stood out to me, 2 Thursday night games. I don't know if I'm all about that, and I don't know if Green Bay is all about that either. So their home opener is a Thursday, which is Week 3 against the Falcons on September 24th. And then a month later, October 29th, another Thursday night game against the Carolina Panthers. So I guess at least in one aspect, both Thursday games are going to be at Lambeau Field. So they don't have to travel for that, I guess. But still, it's not ideal to have 2 Thursday games in a month span. That's not a Thanksgiving sort of thing. But not only that, they've got a Wednesday game with the Rams. They've got a Friday game against the Bears. They've got a Monday game against the Texans and potentially a Saturday game against the Lions to wrap up that season. I mean, there's a really good chance the Packers will play on a every day of the week besides a Tuesday at some point in time. But those 2 Thursday ones, a lot of primetime games when you look at it too. You got a couple of Sunday night football games, the Dallas Cowboys at Lambeau Field, the the Texans is a Monday night game. Your other Sunday night game is the Buffalo Bills. So Monday night, Lambeau Field. Sunday night, Lambeau Field. Sunday night, Lambeau Field. The Christmas Netflix game in Chicago. The other Netflix game against the Rams in LA, but then the 2 Thursday games at Lambeau Field. So hopefully they're up and ready to roll for the stadium lights and such. So there is quite a few streaming options on here too with the 2 Netflix and the 2 Amazon games. So if you're not a streamer, you're not all about that, I don't know what to tell you. But like I said, if you have never signed up for them and you can maybe do a 1-month free trial, it works for the Netflix one. The Amazon one, not quite. It's 5 days past a month. It was close, but not quite. So, and of course, they're going 17-0 because picking games this early and on a schedule to me is dumb. It's May. It's the middle of May. There's a lot that can go on. Maybe we'll all be surprised that Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft play week 1. I don't know. And knock on wood, nothing happens in training camp for injuries or anything like that. There is a lot of time from May 15th to September 13th. I'm not going to pick games on May 15th. That's just no. So if you're going to ask me, record 17-0. That's where I'm at. Travel-wise, I mean, they've only, you open up the season at Minnesota, and then you go to New York, and that L.A. one on Thanksgiving, and then they go to New Orleans. That's the only time they have back-to-back weeks of hitting the road. Otherwise, there is 3 instances where they go back-to-back at home. That's week 5 against the Bears, week 6 against the Cowboys, week 14 against Buffalo, week 15 against Miami, week 17 against Houston, week 18 against Detroit. So even though they're going to begin the season heavy on the road, they're going to finish up with a lot of games at Lambeau Field. So, yeah, I mean, those are kind of the things that jumped out to me, whether they were good, bad, positive, negative. But let me know your thoughts, all right? Hit me up. Shoot me a text or join in on the Section 105 chat room. All right. Shot clock is going to cut me off. Reminder, we do not have an Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow this morning. The doc is out of the office. So we'll catch up with him at another time. But we've got Brandon joining us in the next hour. We're going to do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. I know some softball teams on the prep side of things, clinching some conference championships and such. So we are inching closer to some postseason play in that. We'll hit that all up and get the latest and greatest from Mr. Berg. We'll play a little AGM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. And we'll do some cream of the crop. So if you want to make some picks for cream of the crop, you can do so. All right, just hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line or again on the Section 105 chat room. Give me your Brewers first quarter grades. Give me your thoughts, reaction, analysis on your favorite team's NFL schedule. All right. First quarter's in the books. We got 3 more to go. Stick around. We'll be back after these quick words. All right, second hour kicking off right now on this Friday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us, no matter where you're listening to us from or how you are listening. We've got those radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. The video stream is also up and rolling. Download the app, take it on the go. No Dr. Crow here this morning. The doc is out of the office, so we will not have inside the training room here this morning, but we'll catch up with the good doc next time. So filling in, though, for him and pretending to be a doc this morning, because we're going to quiz him on some stuff, is Mr. Berg. Good morning.
Dr. Berg.
Dr. Berg. My apologies. My apologies.
I didn't go to medical school for 8 years to be called Mister.
8 years? Why not 7?
Don't worry about it.
Is it? Oh, well, thanks for hopping in a little earlier here, sir.
I was just glad I understood your...
the tweet?
Yeah.
Or I did tag him?
Yeah, I'm like, there's no Dr. Crow.
There's
so I'm
no
like,
Dr.
I better
Crow.
double check and see. He's like, yeah, he is...
He is out of the office.
He's out of the office.
Out of the office. So we've got lots to hit up on. We've got Brewers taking on the Twinnies. Are you going to go? Did you decide yet? Or?
No, I have not, because I keep looking at the forecast for Sunday.
That makes my life miserable for this, too.
So that's why I'm just like, See, this is what happens. You don't have a roof. You have to think of these things.
You know what? Then they should play that extra game at AmFam Field when they meet up later
They should.
on. Just saying. I mean, why don't fault the Brewers for that one.
Right.
So
maybe they don't want me to go, because it would not be the first time I was somewhere in Minnesota, or that I was there in Minnesota and it was a rain delay and I was chanting close the roof.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that game leading up to it. But Brewers yesterday picking up another win, 5-1 on this homestand, and literally an inch away from maybe going 6-0 if you look at the Bryce rate. If you just a little taller, that ball is a little bit lower.
Is it the most irritating 5-1 homestand in recent history?
Maybe, because it was that close. But Yankees, Padres, they began those series where those teams were in first place in their division too. And, I mean, if you're grading that series, right? A very impressive series or a homestand. Against the Yankees and the Padres, where now we're officially a month or first quarters in the books mathematically for the Crew. If you had to give them a letter grade, Brandon, what's your letter grade?
I think I would probably say like B+.
That's where I was at.
I'd say B to B+. Yep. I may lean more towards B+ just because of kind of working through some injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But no, that's what I would say. I mean, they've been good. I mean, there's some losing streaks and there's some winning streaks. That's baseball.
But
just in general, it does feel like this is a team that once again is, kind of pointed in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, if you want to look at areas of improvement or weaknesses, you could say the home run ball. But they're doing a really good job of preventing the home run ball, too. They're still scoring a bunch of runs when you look at run differential and such, but that's probably one area. But I was between B plus, because you factor in some of the injuries. I mean, you began the season without Jackson Chourio for a long stretch. No Andrew Vaughn. Christian Yelich has been out now with a back issue and such. And you've put a ton of pressure on your younger pitchers, and they have, for the most part, have really succeeded and played really well. So, yeah, I'd probably go between a B plus, like an 86, 87%. If we're doing like the letter grade somewhere around there.
Yeah, like a solid grade.
Yeah, exactly. From a pitcher standpoint, first quarter grades, who could be bullpen starter, who would you give the highest grades to?
It's really tough for me to not just go Jacob Mizrowski.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so far he has definitely kind of blew past my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the level of consistency we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was something last year, and obviously so, your first full year in the major leagues, and you could see the talent, but there were times where it just wasn't really clicking. It really seems like so far he's cut down some of that inconsistency a little bit. Now if he has kind of a struggle inning, it's there's a couple guys got on and then he got out of it kind of a thing, versus last year where it seemed like it would kind of snowball on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of this also just comes with kind of maturity and growth, but like he's still obviously energetic. but it just seems like he's kind of maybe a little bit more just kind of in command of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just comes with time.
Yeah. It just seems like this is a dude that shines in the biggest moments too, even when you look at last year, and then obviously with the Yankees game, and then I mean even the Boston game where it kind of he was pitching incredibly well up until that last inning and such, but then the Padres game, and this is I mean he is, I think we had high expectations, but he has surpassed mine so far this year too.
Same.
It's just he's to the point of where now it's whenever he has a start, I'm almost preparing myself, okay, what am I going to see tonight? Whether it's 10 straight 102 or higher miles per hour to begin a game, or some ridiculous, still throwing 103 in the seventh inning and such. It's unbelievable. I mean, is he a legitimate ace?
It's trending. I mean, it's certainly trending in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
is he elite?
It's trending in that direction. I mean, when you have those strikeout numbers, but you still pitch that deep into games, and you're still kind of, suppressing runs the way you do,
mm-hmm.
or the way he's done. Like, I don't see how it could be anything else.
Right. Yeah. I think it is. So, I mean, you throw a little Aaron Ashby in there for what he's meant to the bullpen. I think D.L. Hall is kind of getting overshadowed because of what Aaron Ashby has done, but D.L. Hall I think has been really solid out of the pen too. So, and obviously Kyle Harrison, what we saw yesterday, 4-1, and now he's just a skosh over 2 with his ERA. You throw him in the conversation for maybe most surprising sort of thing. But Harrison came in with a lot of
there's a prospect pedigree there, even though it hadn't really fully clicked in his first 2 stops. It was just one of those things where I think you knew it was there. You just had to kind of bring it out.
Yeah.
And the Brewers have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And, credit to Kyle Harrison first and foremost. He's done that.
Right. Position player-wise, is it between Turang and Contreras at this point for most impressive?
I would say so. And I would probably lean in the Turang direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just been a little more dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And, just kind of continuing the growth, kind of taking that another step forward from what we've seen these last few years, where he's went from let's be honest, an offensive liability, to now arguably their best just player in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have put Turang in the Sal Frelick GOAT category for myself now. So I love watching that guy play baseball. Just very kind of quiet, goes about his business, and I think I gravitate towards people too who just continue to get better every single year.
Right. I mean, the old saying in sports is development isn't linear,
mm-hmm.
but it kind of has been with him, where he has gotten just kind of incrementally better every year.
Right. Yeah. And it stinks because I think eventually he's going to price himself out, and then, you look at who they've got waiting in the wings and that. But,
right.
If there was another player that was going to get the Braun or Yelich type of extension, would that be Turang if all things were kind of equal?
Right. Possible. I mean, I think you've kind of already maybe seen that with Churio a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe he's that kind of, as we've seen going back to Braun, like there's always been kind of like one guy that's kind of been that guy.
And it seems like it's always a position player.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, teams just in general are a little more confident in paying position players long term.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that Churio contract is still pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind it if they just decide, hey, we could go Turang too, and then kind of, you figure out the rest later as far as, how, maybe some of those other younger guys fit.
Right. Yeah. And I know everybody's kind of saying the Brewers should sign up Mizorowski right away and that, but it always takes 2 to tango in this thing.
Right. And you have to, I mean, it's very possible that, the players on the other end of things kind of, obviously they understand the landscape too.
Right. Because I look at it, I'm sure, I would imagine that the Pirates will love to sign Paul Skeens right now, but Paul Skeens and his agents in his camp is probably saying, just wait, be patient. Because
Or they have a good understanding of their value.
Yeah.
And what they view their value, and what the team kind of wants to pay for that value may not intersect.
Yeah, because I just feel like you continue that trend, you're going to get paid a whole lot more if you get closer to that free agent market and such. And I get it. It's the balance of stability or security compared to
maximizing what you can get.
right. And ultimately, that's the player's decision and the representation. So I get it. Brewers fans kind of are saying, Brewers, lock them up. But Mizorowski has a say in that too, whether he wants to sign that or not. Right now, his stock is trending super hot. So, but in terms of improvement, I mean, it's Ortiz probably. I threw in Sal Frelick. I'd like to see a little bit more production from him.
I thought you meant like if showing improvement, I'm like, well.
Oh, no. Like it needs to improve. Like they're in restricted study hall, and then, they got to get their grades back up. So.
Yeah. I mean, that would be one. That would certainly,
Pitching was a little bit harder for me. Is it almost Quinn Priester by default? Just
maybe there's just a little bit of injury luck in there. Just getting Woodruff back. I mean, I think another one as far as needs improvement. I mean, after his hot start, Garrett Mitchell. He had the double yesterday, but I think especially the thing there is with those guys, you have minor leaguers kind of knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked a lot about Cooper Pratt at AAA. Luis Lara, who, again, if those guys are going to get called up, you need to call them up with an avenue to play every day. You can't call them up just to get 4 at-bats a week. That doesn't do anybody any good.
Right.
So.
Is it – I noticed this. I think it was in the loss to the Padres, or it was one of those games, staying with Garrett Mitchell. The fact that Blake Perkins came in as a defensive sub.
That was it was one of those games.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that was kind of interesting.
It's interesting because, I mean, and – I mean, I haven't looked enough into the defensive metrics to see if Mitchell's defense maybe isn't grading quite as well, because I know even Perkins's isn't quite, but it just it does seem like there has been some misses out there in center this year. And look, these are tough plays you're asking guys to make, but they are plays in the past that Garrett Mitchell's made.
Right.
Or he gets there and maybe he doesn't just quite he doesn't catch it quite right or that kind of stuff, but. It's a competitive environment for that outfield, in that outfield right now. So.
Yeah, and I know he tried yesterday with that diving catch.
Yeah.
I think everybody was holding their breath.
Yeah, looked like he was all right. So I think he doubled when he came back to the plate.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's all right. So, but it's, it's a competitive environment right there right now with, obviously Churio and, Frelick, who's, still going to play pretty much every day. And you're just kind of trying to put the pieces together, and we, right now we just don't know about Yelich.
Right.
I mean, even though that would still probably be predominantly DH, but prior to the start of the year anyway, it kind of made it sound like from Pat Murphy that maybe Yelich might play a little more in the outfield, but I mean that maybe got put on hold a little bit with how things have went here, so we'll see.
Is that one of the bigger questions now heading into the second quarter of the season? Is how many we're going to see from Yelich? Because he comes back and now it's a back type of thing. And I know during that game I saw the back brace and I'm like, oh boy, is that just preventive or is there something going on or what? But
yeah.
And I know Pat said, Yelich was pushing to play and they're just kind of protecting him from himself. Is that coach speak sort of thing to try? I don't know. But.
It went from Yelich is back to Yelich is back.
Yeah.
It became an apostrophe.
There you go. So, all right, let's talk some more Brewers as we get set for this series against the Twinnies rivalry weekend. We'll hit that up coming up after this quick break. Summer is right around the corner, and that means it is time to freshen up your home from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center. Whether you're hosting backyard get-togethers, opening the doors to family and friends, or you're just ready for a seasonal refresh, new flooring can completely transform your space. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks, Carpet City Flooring Center has everything you need to bring your vision to life. It's not just about the looks. It's about quality that you can count on and expert guidance every step of the way. Their team is ready to help you find the perfect fit for your style, your needs, and your budget. So before summer officially kicks off, make sure your home is ready to shine. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center today and take the first step towards a space that you will love all season long. We got Brewers, Twins, border battle starting tonight, 6:10 first pitch. Joe Ryan is going to be the starting pitcher for the Twinnies. Nothing officially official yet from the Brewers on who that starter is going to be, but I would imagine at some points, you kind of wonder, is it like a Chad Patrick opener, bullpen? I don't even know if I want to call it bullpen because they've got guys who could go a couple innings, a piece sort of thing. I would imagine one of those is going to be maybe a Patrick kind of spot start sort of thing.
Maybe the bulk pitcher, as they like
to
say.
Yep. And then I don't know because the only one that's been officially announced was Logan Henderson for tomorrow.
Right.
On Saturday.
And the interesting thing here too is, and it's going to work out that way anyway, but like obviously after the Twin Series, the Cub Series, and it's set up where, as of right now anyway, assuming, there's nothing with the cramp that Mizorowski suffered, had, and that ended his start against the Padres, is Mizorowski, Harrison, and then maybe Patrick. But like, I don't think it's a coincidence that, with a couple off days and the rain out with St. Louis, they've been able to kind of jockey their rotation a little bit, and Mizorowski and Harrison are lined up to start at the start of the Cup Series.
Right.
I don't think that's coincidence.
Not at all. And that's what I would like.
And it makes sense. No, it makes sense. So, kind of figuring this out a little bit. I mean, I would assume Brandon Sproat's probably in line for that Sunday game. But if this ever happens where we get to the point where we kind of see that Brewers rotation back at quote unquote full strength, I brought this up before, but I really like what I've seen out of Chad Patrick just kind of in relief. And
we saw that, was that Friday against the Yankees?
It was in the Yankees, Saturday.
Saturday, yep.
Where he pitched really well. For now, like, he's still a good option in the rotation, but like, to me, that maybe using him, that might be the best route for him because I think his stuff just plays up a little bit more there. But obviously right now, he's needed in the rotation.
Right.
But I think ultimately, it's a bit like Aaron Ashby, where like Aaron Ashby could start, but I just think he's more dynamic as a reliever. And, if he's similar to Ashby, where he's a guy that can go, he can go a batter, he can go 2 innings. Like, what's better than having one Aaron Ashby? Well, try to have 2 of them.
Right, yeah. And then, you throw in a little DL Hall in there too, right?
And considering this team, lost who coming into the season was their top lefty reliever, which is Jarek Koenig. And it sounds like he's going to be back, which is good. At first, it didn't sound super great, but the fact that they've got, you mentioned Aaron Ashby and DL Hall, and Brian Fitzpatrick. I know he kind of ran a little bit of traffic yesterday, but for a guy that's just getting up to the majors for the first time, I think he's been good. Shane Drowan, I think, as a reliever especially.
And that would be a nice boost with Zerpa being done for the year.
Right. And not to mention Angel Zerpa, who, a lot of people, I think both of us included, were expecting big things out of, especially coming out of the WBC. But the fact that they've got this amount of depth as far as left-handed relievers go, where you're getting into your 4th, your 5th, guy that maybe you were looking at the start of the year, and they're pitching well.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really good sign.
Right. I love Drowan's mind, like how he looks on the field. Like, he's so dialed in. And I think it was BA was kind of even talking about it on one of the telecasts, but it's just, he is so zoned in and dialed in, like this stoic look that he always has on there. But he's been a nice surprise,
right. And he might be another one that, maybe set up to pitch, multiple innings tonight.
Yeah.
Because he can.
Right.
And you've got, and a guy like Jake Woodford, who is, I think, the guy that nobody ever talks about the bullpen because he's the long reliever, but he's a guy that.
And he came in late.
Yeah.
It was a late acquisition.
Right.
Yeah. At the end of camp,
and he's a guy that, you're not, there's nobody out there that's like Jake Woodford is my favorite Brewer.
Right.
But he
except for his family.
it's like for his family,
Yep.
but like, he's a veteran that can give you innings.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a night where you say, "Hey, can you get us a time through the order? Can you if you come in like the 4th inning, can you get us through the 6th
Mm-hmm.
if it's working well?"
Right.
That just might be kind of what it is.
Yep. Yeah. But there's a lot to like with this pitching staff, even with a couple of the hiccups and injuries that they've had with Woodruff and then Zerpa and Quinn Priester not able to come back yet.
They work through it.
These younger dudes have just really, really stood up.
And that's kind of the encouraging thing, because you see in baseball a lot sometimes where, to me, it's one thing if it's a 30-year-old kind of journeyman.
Mm-hmm.
If let's just say Jake Woodford had gotten placed in the rotation because of injury and was doing really well, you could say, "Oh, that's exciting." But look, this guy is, upper 20s. Like maybe this is just more of kind of a 1-year thing. But when you look at all these younger players, it's like, no, this is kind of, one, I'm sure what the team is kind of expecting,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always so exciting to kind of try to project into the future,
Right.
what it could look like.
Yep. So, we got we know the Twins are going to be throwing out Ryan tonight, so obviously probably their best starter and such. And Brewers have a little bit of experience going up against him in that, but so we'll see what that kind of looks like. It's rivalry weekends, which Cubs will be going up against White Sox, and the weird one of Padres and Mariners, and
The battle for the West Coast,
right? So, but again, I we've said it many times. I really don't have a problem with the Twins.
No, like to me, the Twins and the T-Wolves kind of fall into that same thing, and I think part of it is just because they're not in the same division or conference.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've said this many times before. I always enjoy my trips to Target Field. Like, I have several friends who are Twins fans, so it's like I would like to see the Twins do well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be like, well, if the Brewers aren't winning, I'm cheering for the Twins. Like, I'm a Brewers fan very much first and foremost, but like I like to see the Twins do well. It's fun. Like, now if that time comes when there's realignment and the Brewers and Twins are suddenly back in the same division, well, that might change a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Or if the T-Wolves suddenly are, in the same division as the Bucks, then that might change a little bit. But
so
also,
what if the Vikings leave the division?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And that's why, like, you'll hear like a lot of like maybe older fans who don't, maybe aren't because they remember the AL days.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But also something fun to consider. I believe right now the probable starter tomorrow for the Twins is Connor Prelip, who's from Toma.
Oh.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
He made his major league debut a little bit earlier this year, lefty starter. So that's kind of cool. Little local connection there with someone from Toma. So
nice little nugget there from Mr. Berg, Dr. Berg.
Dr. Berg.
I have my apologies. So, all right. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. Plenty more baseball talk, but if you want to send over your first quarter grades, please do so. Hit us up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or you can hit us up on the Section 105 chat on our YouTube video stream. We'll be right back after these few words. Looking for a great spot to unwind in Eau Claire? You need to check out the VFW Post at 305 and take in the view from their gorgeous back patio. It's one of the best in town. Especially perfect time of the year for that. Whether you're meeting some friends, enjoying a cold beverage, or just soaking up a summer evening, this is the place to be. With live bands, fun events, and something happening all the time, there's always a reason to stop by. VFW Post 305, great views, great vibes, right here in Eau Claire. Doesn't a VFW breakfast sound really good right now, Brandon?
Sure does.
Man, in life, I don't know why I'm starving this morning. I don't know why. Probably because it's been like nonstop go schedule-wise in the Kasper house. Baseball, 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 baseball. Whether it's watching games or coaching or playing, yeah, been busy. But switch gears here for a little bit because next hour we'll do some local sports roundup. We'll do our cream of the crops and pump the brakes full throttle. Schedule releases out, so we get week 1.
Yeah, jump right in.
You versus me, week 1.
Oh boy,
right away in your house. But from your side of things for the Vikings schedule, anything really stand out to you?
Not especially. I mean, as is always the case, I think when it comes to these things, there's things about the schedule I like, things I don't. I think if I remember correctly off the top of my head, I think 4 of the last 6 games for the Vikings are at home, which is nice. I think Packers are kind of a similar thing where they're
4 of the last 5, yeah.
Yeah, they're home heavy near the end. I'll be honest, I do like starting with Green Bay in part because, well, we'll see about when Micah Parsons is back, and if you can miss him once, I'm not going to complain about that. Otherwise, once again, the Vikings got an early bye, which you kind of like to have a bye around the midpoint of the year if you can. But I'm not gonna get too upset about it. So no, and I mean 9 home games, 8 road games, and one of those road games is the Mexico City Sunday night game with the 49ers. So I think that's probably I view that as a good thing. I mean, really 7 true road games, which is helpful. I mean. If you're playing an international game and you don't have to leave your time zone, I think that's a good thing. I mean, last year the Vikings had to, they were 2 weeks overseas, which is kind of goofy. A team had never done that before. Think is doing that again where they were playing in 2 different places. I think Jacksonville's doing back-to-back games over in the UK, but no, otherwise it's.
Yeah, for me from a Green Bay perspective, you use the word goofy. Green Bay's is goofy in terms of just like some days, 2 Thursdays, which kind of surprised me in the first, between, week 3 is their first Thursday, then a month later is another Thursday night game, which I was like, okay. And then a Wednesday with the day before Thanksgiving, and then Christmas Day Friday, and then, 1 Monday night game, which is week 17, 2 Sunday night games on there too. So they're potentially could play they can do their check marks of we played on a Monday, we played on a Wednesday, we played on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The only one wouldn't be is Tuesday, potentially Saturday, that last one against the Lions, depending on probably how standings are and such. But yeah, that's going to be the goofy part with that. That I think honestly of everything, there's a lot to look at, but from a Green Bay side, to see 2 Thursdays right away was interesting.
It's also kind of weird to me to open up your home schedule on Thursday night. Like I get Buffalo is, but they're also opening a new stadium, so like that's a little different to me. But like, I don't know, it's just odd. Like you have you have your first 2 games on the road, and then you open up your first game on a Thursday night. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I honestly kind of noticed that too. I was like, oh, okay, and I get there's going to be another team, whoever's got the first Thursday. I think depending on if they open up both at home.
Well, and that's the thing the week before Buffalo, because they host Detroit, and that's opening up their new stadium on a Thursday night. So technically they are too, but like that's different to me.
That's different.
To me, that feels different. But
no,
and the other big thing I always do when the schedule comes out is I will actually go through like the full league schedule and kind of because usually I can pretty well project like how many Viking games are I going to be able to watch?
Yeah,
just because and. I think the number I came up with through the first 16 weeks was probably 14.
Oh, nice.
Just because, obviously, anytime they're on the same time as the Packers, if they're on the same network, obviously it's not going to happen. but I kind of, and then you kind of factoring in what you assume the doubleheaders are going to be and stuff like that. And like, I think there was only 2 games that wasn't the case, but ironically, they were within the first month.
Okay. It's kind of so that first Packers-Viking one's on CBS too.
Yeah, which is yeah. So I'm assuming the week 1 are they just doing maybe 2 doubleheaders?
Must be. I would assume
I mean
so.
that's because I think it's Eagles Washington.
Yep.
Is America's game of the week on Fox, but like I don't know, like Packers Vikings is a pretty decent like.
Mm-hmm.
So I
would imagine that's a Romo and Nance one.
I would think so,
maybe
because I don't think there was too much else.
Let me bring it up here.
Peruse.
So the week, I don't want that one. Here we go. So week 1, because it's New England at Seattle to open it up Wednesday, and then San Francisco Rams Thursday. Chicago at Carolina, that's at 12. Tampa, that's Fox. Unless they do the noon Buffalo at Houston. Would that be a Tony and Nance one?
Maybe.
Yeah. Baltimore at the Colts. Cleveland, Jacksonville, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Jets, Titans. Don't think it'll be that one. Cardinals, not Dolphins, Raiders, because they don't have it. Yeah. Green Bay, Minnesota. Yeah, the only other one I could see it being would be that noon.
Buffalo, Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, and yeah.
But because my thing then would be like, well, then why would they put it at 325? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
no, I agree.
So, but yeah,
we'll see how it. We got plenty of time for them to figure that part out. So,
right.
But I don't know if you're like me. I don't like picking games as soon as the schedule comes out because it's May, and there's so much.
There's a lot
stuff,
that's going to change,
right?
Like, yeah, I'm not. Obviously, some people just kind of looking like, well, here's my, first, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So if anybody asks me what I think, I answer 17-0. It's just, I mean, you're talking about how many months there's, and what I mean by that is there could be injuries. Knock on wood, there's not. There could be so many other things. Maybe Micah plays week 1.
Maybe.
Talking crap. We don't know that.
Yeah.
And would that change picks? Yes, it would for me.
Yeah.
It would. And I know for some people are like, oh, they could still beat them. Yeah, they could.
But the percentage, it feels
but the percentages
ticks
go
up a
up.
little bit, yeah.
Big time. And that's where I'm not going to pick games on May 15th when the season starts September 13th because there's so much that could transpire. On the negative side, what if something happens in preseason?
Right. That's always kind of the minefield you walk through in preseason is, okay, well, were you able to avoid kind of the big things?
Right.
Injuries, suspension, whatever.
I'm just it works out incredibly well for hunting season for me this year. They have a bye opening weekend, and then they play the Wednesday nights.
Should they be playing the Vikings opening week? I think it's the week before.
It is.
And,
okay, I'm glad you said that. I said that it feels like every year.
Yep, it feels like every year the Packers and Vikings play on the opening Sunday of hunting.
I know one year was the 49ers because I was watching it on my phone.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So and then they obviously the Wednesday night game. So yeah, that works out really well for you to maximize.
It does.
Maximize stand time.
The only thing I don't like is Bears Packers on Christmas. Now, if Green Bay wins, I'm ecstatic and Christmas is better. But if they lose, man, I don't like that. But I'm not surprised they did that.
No, I mean, I think after last year, Packers Bears is always, given pretty good treatment. But I think especially after last year and what those games were like, they were probably like, yeah, we need to find a way to.
Well, and you look at the matchups on Christmas. Rams, Seahawks, division, but drama. Obviously this one. And then it's Buffalo, Denver, which playoff drama from last year.
Well, the funny thing, too, is I think they tried to do it a little bit last year. It's just you end up with Vikings-Lions, which was certainly a game that happened on Christmas. But
maybe they learned their lesson a little bit.
Well, I mean, at the start of the year, that one looked like it was a heavy hitter, too. But
well, and that's the risk you do having,
you don't know.
You don't know.
Can have some, and amongst all of the things they do for schedules now, one of the best moves they made was when they went to all division games last week because you're guaranteed to have something that matters.
Yes. Yep. I would agree. All right. Let's take our final break for this hour before we head into halftime. If you would like to chime in on your thoughts on the schedule release, regardless if you are a Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions, whoever fan, send it on over. All right. Hit us up. We'll take a quick break and be back to wrap up the second hour after these few words. Whether you are chasing a championship or you're just trying to stay active, your body deserves the best care. At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they help athletes and non-athletes alike to get back to doing what they love. From sports injuries and joint pain to everyday aches, their expert team is here with personalized care every step of the way. So no matter your level of activity, you do not have to sit on the sidelines. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, to feel better, and to live better. We got about 10 minutes left to the top. In the 8 o'clock hour, we'll kick it off with a little cream of the crop, and then we'll do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center, and then jump into our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. If you want, you can continue to send us your thoughts on the schedule release or give us some grades when it comes to the Brewers with their first quarter grades officially in the books. So just really quick little nugget here. I did see this one. I think it was Zach Lowe. Let me double check if I can find it. He had mentioned on a podcast that he had dinner with a high-powered agent. Yeah, Zach Lowe said that regarding Giannis, he had breakfast with an agent, a very high-powered agent the other day, and the agent said, "I'm still betting no trade."
Was it Jerry Maguire?
But as somebody said, that won't make headlines or newsworthy stuff, because it doesn't push the needle or the narrative in that. But all right, I don't know who this high agent is, obviously, and but it's getting kind of a little nice nugget to hear that, right? I mean, I still want Giannis there.
I would like him to stay, but I think regardless of how you feel, I think there's so many people that you just want some sort of concrete, like, okay, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If he signs an extension, okay, great. If they decide to trade him, great. And for all of the things you can say about Jimmy Haslam, when it comes to ownership and stuff, I do appreciate the fact that he's like, look, it's going to be one of two things.
Yeah. Kind of drawing the line in the sand.
Right. The worst thing they could do would be go into next year without an extension and just keeping Giannis on that last year of the deal, because if he's not re-signing, then you trade him.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to re-sign, figure it out.
Yep. Yeah. So I saw Miles Turner, too, also kind of throwing some shade at Doc, not fining people for being late and that, which, dude, where was this relaxation when you were with Orlando? I still go back to the Tim Duncan thing, man.
And I kind of laughed, too, because, like, boy, this stuff wasn't brought up during the year.
Right.
But the second the season's over and
the coach is gone.
Then suddenly it's like, well.
That's where it's like maybe we don't have privy to the conversations in the locker room, but where's team leadership then?
Right.
Where's the players' leaders
where's
stepping
accountability?
up? Exactly. Where is that? And if players are taking advantage of that, I don't know if I want those players on my team.
Right.
And maybe we do need that clean sweep of some of those players. Like, all right, get your booties out of here, sort of thing. But
well, we know that the Bucks are picking 10th, so.
Yeah, which I've seen the kid from Tennessee's been heavily mocked there.
I feel like every single mock draft I've seen has been that guy.
Yeah. I did see one with apparently one report was the Bucks were doing extra work on the center from Michigan, the 7'3" guy, the defensive player of the year from the Big Ten. So that would be more of a rim protector type of role, I would imagine. Okay. Let's say that is the pick, and they keep Miles Turner and Giannis. That's a lot of
– it's a beef.
That's a lot of – Jay Billis is going to go nuts on draft night with Wingspan. So I'd still like to see a guard potentially or a typical three.
I would – I mean, I'm just going to be like, okay.
Best player.
Talent. I mean, especially with how positionless basketball has kind of become.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, it is – basketball, the NBA draft is different than the NFL.
Yeah.
Whereas just get the best player. Regardless of position, figure it out later. Get the best player on the board.
Talent.
Yes.
You need the infusion of young talent.
Yep. Yeah. So it's just, and it's the same as baseball, I think, too, for the MLB draft. Unless you have that, I think you got farm systems, you got all this, you just get the best
there's
player
ways
out
you
there.
Can go about. I mean, whoever it is could be a really big fixture for the Wisconsin Herd.
That's true. But okay, a few minutes left. Going back to the schedule thing, I'll admit I didn't have a chance to watch all the videos. So I don't know if one jumped. I did watch the Packers one. I'm very confused on it. It's like claymation sort of thing, and Clay Matthews is in it. The voices of Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Micah Parsons, Tucker Kraft is in it. Leroy Butler's in it. Weird. But regardless, I appreciate more creativity every year in that. But I do think Chargers and Titans have always set the bar high.
Yeah, usually those are the ones that are usually like the best usually stay the best.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did chuckle a little bit when I did see, I think it was Pro Football Talk before schedule release said they had a little bit of a blog saying the NFL was not going to monitor whether teams were going to have Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel references in it. I'm like, oh, okay. But I don't think any team did. So.
I have yet to watch the Chargers one. Like that was one. Like I'd seen it and I liked the premise of it, which is just like based off the video game Halo.
Yeah,
which is cool. But I just got to do it. Like I was busy last night, so.
I still think the best one is the Titans when they're going around and interviewing.
But like my thing with that too is like I think you can only do that so much.
Yeah, you can't keep doing it.
Right.
You cannot keep doing it. When they first did it, it was the best.
Right.
Because
now eventually it's like, okay, are these people like really like eventually it's like how often do you have to be out there before you find someone that doesn't know?
That's a once in a time sort of thing.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just old now where I didn't quite grasp the Packers one.
Well, no, and like the Vikings one was fine, but like I don't think in either our team's cases they're ever the one that's like one of the best.
Right.
Like I mean, the Vikings one was actually starring Will Reichert, the kicker.
Okay.
And it was like a restaurant theme, and the thing I thought was kind of fun was the waiter for the restaurant was noted Vikings fan / pro wrestling legend Chris Jericho. So that was fun, but like, and you have obviously just a bunch of different like foods based off of the teams and stuff like that. So
right,
it was it's fine, but like I guess put it this way, I don't remember what the Vikings did for any of their previous ones. Actually, no, I take it back. Last year they had like they had like a drone and they were running around like the facility and stuff, and it was fine. Like, but I'm not getting super pumped for it.
Right. Yeah. So, and honestly, I don't know what I would do different. Like, I don't think I have that creative.
Right. That's why I don't get too up in arms with it. Generally, one of my rules in life is like, don't get too mad about something unless you have an idea to do it better. And I really don't. So,
like our Brewers jersey thing, which, by the way, I noticed this in one of the shops at AmFam Field. They do have shirts that say "The Good Land."
Do they really?
But it's for women's only. And I was very upset.
Oh, come on.
Because I was staying in line with Hudson stuff, and I looked to Veronica, my wife, I said, I want that shirt. Because it said, The Good Land. And I'm like, but that's a women's thing. And she's like, yeah.
You can fit into like a women's XL or something.
I probably could. It was like a nice light blue, like, it matches my eyes and sort of thing. So.
This was like a dozen years ago or so. I think it was my mom had found me and got me, but it was like a kid's like XL or 2XL. It was a gigantic like kid shirt, but I had a Noriyoki shirtsy, but it wasn't Japanese.
Oh, nice.
But I don't think it was like an adult size shirt.
Nice.
I really wish I still had that.
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity there.
Come on, Milwaukee.
Yeah, there's maybe because we're out of time here, maybe I'll bring it up. There's a few things I would like to see improve from AmFam. I will say this, but and I got to tell you a story. Probably some people who listen 4 hours each day are going to be tired, but I got to tell you the reaction from Salfrey, like when he came in, because he didn't start.
Yeah.
The reaction from a certain fan. I got to tell you this, so I'll tell you. No, it wasn't. All right, we are at halftime. 2 in, 2 more to go. We got news updates. We'll be back after these few words. All right, halftime is over with, and we are on to the third quarter this morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget you can chime in. Hit us up, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Join in on the Section 105 chat on our video stream on YouTube. We're going to get back to some more Brewers and baseball talk and such. So give us your first quarter grades. Now that the Brewers' first quarter of the season is officially in the books, what grade would you give this ball club? All right. We got Twins coming up. Brewers are going to be just across the border from us. I know a few of you are probably heading on over to that game. I wish I was. I'd like Target Field. Target Field's a nice place. I do enjoy the view in that ballpark. So, but we're going to play a little AEGM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle coming up here in just a little bit. We've got Local Sports Roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center here in a hot minute. Let's kick off this hour, though, with a little cream of the crop. And Brandon, who is your? Do you want to switch mics? I could switch mics for you so it's easier for you. I'll do that for you because I'm a nice guy. So you're a cream of the crop. Oh, wait, wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
So you're not going to?
No.
No. You know what? I am gonna. I think just stick with. It's funny because I think it was a couple weeks ago I went with kind of just Minnesota sports in general, but I got to go with Colorado. I mean, that comeback and that Nathan McKinnon shot to go ahead. I mean, that was an absolute snipe. Like right now, it seems like in the NHL there's two teams in the playoffs who are just kind of a cut above. It's Colorado and Carolina. Mm-hmm. I mean, those two teams they seem like they're on a collision course. We'll see, and if we get that is going to be one heck of a Stanley Cup final.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My cream of the crop, I'm going to go Jacob Mizorowski right now for how well he is pitching. I thought about doing a little Bryce Terang, but I mean, Miz with the Yankees and then what he did with the Padres and such. I got to go with cream of the crop for Jacob Mizorowski. That dude is unbelievable. So, but all right, shall we do a little Local Sports Roundup?
Sure, I'm scrambling here, but yeah, we can do that.
You want me to stall for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll stall. If you want to chime in on your favorite team's NFL schedule release too, please do so. We do have Mark from EC saying, as a Dolphins fan, not expecting a lot this season, 6-11, but I always look at how many cold weather away games they have towards the end. Well, Mark, does that mean you're going to be going to Packers cold weather one when your team, the Dolphins, come to town? Packers South, come back north. Jeff Halfley, John Eric Sullivan, Malik Willis. So we need a Packers West. We need a Packers because we got the East with Pittsburgh. I'm counting them as Packers East. And we go visit them. We don't have necessarily a Packers West. Unless we call the Arizona because, I mean, we got a LaFleur head coach, but Hackett's the offensive coordinator. So maybe a little bit there. And they come in preseason. So, but, yeah, Issa. Okay. I think we got that covered. So, but how about this too? What's your favorite game on the schedule? Like when you're looking that up, you're circling that one as like, I cannot wait for that one. Maybe some of you are excited about a Packers-Bears Christmas Day game. Maybe that's the one you're circling. Maybe it's the Wednesday night of the Rams, or maybe it's something completely different. What's the most intriguing game? Maybe, what's the most intriguing game for you on the docket here? So hit us up. Text it 715-830-1912. Or, again, you can join in on the Section 105 chat room. All right. Are you good now, Brandon? Let's do some Local Sports Roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center.
All right.
You want to start off with some softball? Because I think I saw you last night, Stanley Boyd.
Yeah, we will do that. So we'll start with softball in the Western Clover Belt last night. A conference champion was crowned, Stanley Boyd. Mm-hmm. First time since 1998 that they won a conference championship in softball. And, yeah, exciting fashion, 9-4 win over McDonald at Casper Park. Those two teams came in tied atop the conference, so winner take all. McDonald won the first meeting, Stanley Boyd won the second, so Stanley Boyd ends the conference season 13-1 in conference. McDonald game back. Bloomer, a game back of that at 11-3. They defeated McDonald in one of the two games in their doubleheader on Tuesday. That kind of opened the door for a potential outright conference championship for the Orioles. And, I mean, those three teams are all, I think, teams that are going to be very kind of interesting to follow in the postseason. Bloomer and Stanley Boyd could play again in the postseason. They're both Division III. They met in the regular season. Stanley Boyd won those matchups, but they were competitive games. So we'll see McDonald in Division IV with the likes of Grantsburg and Colfax and Augusta, all teams having really, really good years. So that will be something interesting to keep note of. In the Big Rivers last night, Chippewa Falls has clinched at least a share of the conference championship. For Big River softball, they can win it outright with one more win. They play 2 games against Eau Claire North next week, or they can get some help with if Hudson loses one more game. But either way, I mean, it's kind of trending obviously in that direction of another conference championship for Chippewa Falls, who has really, I mean, I forget the exact number, but I mean, they have finished no worse in the conference standings than second for the last 27 years, something like that. I mean, it's just a crazy number. But and that's a Chippewa team that they get a quad tomorrow up at Kasper Park. We'll be playing some good teams there as we kind of get to the end of the regular season. I mean, we're a weekish out. I think there's even some playoff games maybe at the end of next week for quarterfinals and smaller divisions, if I remember correctly. I'm not positive on that though, but really the playoffs get going in earnest after Memorial Day.
Okay.
So, and we got a lot of really good teams in this area, kind of poised to make a run. Baseball, Hudson's still on top of the Big Rivers, but they lost earlier this week to River Falls. So that actually opens the door a little bit for Chippewa Falls, who is a game back. Hudson won both those games there too, but Chippewa Falls still has 5 games left, and so is Hudson. But I mean, now they're a game back, so can another team trip up Hudson? We'll see. But Chippewa Falls still has a lot on their plate. I know they won both games this week against Eau Claire North. Exciting fashion, especially Tuesday. Gavin Thompson with the walk-off home run in that game after North had fought back to even that game up. So exciting baseball coming up in the Western Clover Belts. I believe it was Fall Creek and Elk Mound splitting the conference championship there. So I mean, they've really been the top 2 teams in that conference this year, so kind of makes sense that they're, splitting that conference championship. 2 teams in Division III. They're going to be really fun to watch come the postseason. But that Division III section is going to be very interesting because there are a lot of Western Clover Belt teams, and just in general, there's a lot of familiarity, I think, with those teams. Even teams that are not in the same conference might have played each other. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to develop. And then, I mean, as we kind of move into next week, I mean, we've got a lot of conference tourneys coming up for different things. Track for the Big Rivers, their conference championships scheduled for Monday at Memorial. I know the Western Clover Belt's Tuesday in Fall Creek. So, next week is really kind of, I would say, for a lot of teams, a lot of sports, the end of the regular season, so to speak. I know next Tuesday as well, we've got coming up here the Clover Belt Boys Golf Championships. That's going to be down at Skyline, down Black River Falls. So, yeah, we're here. We're here when it gets to that time of the year. So I think boys golf, I believe, is a week from yesterday, if my memory serves me correctly, for the Big Rivers.
Okay.
As far as the boys golf world goes, yes, and that's going to be up in Rice Lake at Turtleback.
Nice.
So they'll be going 18 holes there for the last time, in conference play to kind of cap that off. And the Big Rivers, this year's had, I mean, you've had a bunch of different teams that have kind of flexed their muscle at different times. It's going to be kind of interesting to see who kind of puts forth that last big effort that maybe puts one team over the top.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to bring up a couple things. Is that got it covered for some spring stuff? Or?
I think so. I mean, there's other stuff going on. We're gonna, boys tennis is kind of getting down to the, to the end of it here, and so many other sports. But yeah, I mean, we're really, it's here.
Because I wanted to bring up your piece where you chat a little bit with McDonald's new football coach.
Yes, Luke Oliver. Yep. New football coach. He's taking over the reins as McDonald makes the move into 11-player back this year, jumping into the Dunn St. Croix conference. So yeah, and he's super excited for the opportunity. An Eau Claire Regis graduate, coached a couple tenures with the Ramblers under longtime coach Brian Brunner. So has also coached in a couple other states as well. Actually coached high school football in Florida for a bit, and then over in Minnesota. So someone that's coming in at a unique time for the program, but is bringing a lot of energy and is just really excited for the opportunity. And he's gotten a chance to know some of the kids a little bit, and he's going to be a teacher in the high school for McDonald coming up next year. So he's really excited about that too, just because something you hear about when you talk with coaches is the opportunity to be in the building every day. It's one thing to be the coach. It's another thing when you're there and you see these kids every day, and it really helps you kind of build those relationships. And that's something he's really excited about. And we're not too far away once we get to the fall. I mean, in McDonald jumping back into 11-player football with a bang. Week 1 they play Regis. So I mean that'll be that rivalry will be renewed for the first time since 2010.
Yeah.
So that should be kind of interesting to see. And really a nice litmus test, I guess, for McDonald kind of off the bat to see where they stand against a team that's always one of the best in the area.
Absolutely. And the other thing too, I saw you a few days ago on your Facebook page posted up, but we are getting close to the Express season, and a couple of our pitchers.
The teams are we're starting to see the names for the Express, and in my neck of the woods, a couple Chippewa County pitchers with Easton Bob from Chippewa Falls and Warren Bovey from Cadott. Bob pitched for the Express last year. This will be Bovey's first year, but also I think Jake Bussin from Hudson, who was a really important player for them last year. He's back. So yeah, I mean we're a week,
a week from Monday.
A little over a week away from the Express coming back, and yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, chance to see a lot of these familiar names and the ultimate familiar name with Dale. So you bet.
Exactly.
Should be a really fun time.
Absolutely.
Really fun summer. You'll be out there.
We will be. We will be. So hopefully you will be.
I might have to join you.
So. All right, that's your local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Let's take a quick break, and we'll play a little AGM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle coming up after these quick words. Coming up tomorrow, it's Barbecue Fest over at the Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds. You can head to nwsfa.com. Just click on Barbecue Fest on the top there for a schedule of events. Today, I know from 5 to 7 p.m. they got social and live music going on, but the fun will really get going tomorrow. Starting at 11 a.m. when Barbecue Fest opens up to the public. Got a cornhole tournament going on, music going on, and at 1 p.m., the limited quantity of People's Choice ballots available for purchase. So I'll be over there for a little bit, hanging out next to our friends at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. I was thinking about doing a pod there, but I got no way to do it with. What are you doing tomorrow?
What time?
11. Maybe a little before.
Could maybe do something before.
Okay. We'll talk off air.
Yeah, we'll communicate.
We'll communicate it about. So, but tomorrow, and then I'll have the Mo Man Cave there. We'll have some shirts and swags and stuff to give away in that too. So, C-Bomb turned me down. Surveyor turned me down.
Jeez.
So, I was trying to mix it up and trying to include those peeps, but
bombs.
They are. Really are. So, but all right, let's do some AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, shall we? Let's do it. Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Jacob Mizorowski is a top 10 pitcher in all of Major League Baseball.
I'm going to go full throttle right now. I mean, look at the numbers. It's hard to dispute.
I like how you
throttle.
enunciated dispute on that. Yeah, I'm going to go full throttle too, man. You look at the track record that he's on right now, or the trend that he's on right now. Heck yeah, he is. So, and the scary thing is too, Rand, I think he could still get better. Right? I think he can still get, like Paul Skeens right now is just on a complete tear, and he has gotten a little bit. He set the bar really high, but you can tell, there's 3 instances where he's almost had no hitters or a perfect game against.
I don't know. His ERA has gone up every year. It went from like a 1.96 to a 1.97 to a 1.98.
What a bum!
What a bomb! He's gonna be in the 2s before you know it.
Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Is Bryce Turang the best second baseman in all of Major League Baseball?
Right now, I will say full throttle, as the offense has caught up to the defense.
Mm-hmm. I would say full throttle, but I would not be surprised if he's not starter in the All-Star game for the National League.
I would agree with that.
I think Nico Horner is going to get some more attention and praise and love and favorability and all that.
And Nico is a fantastic player, but I do think that Bryce Turang right now is having a better season.
I would agree with that 100%. I think it's a combination of Cubs, and Nico got the big contract, so there's a little bit more of the popularity contest that kind of goes into it and such. So, Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. How do I want to make sure I phrase this clearly.
Pump the brakes.
So somebody had brought up this because I was doing a chaperoning my kid's field trip on Wednesday, and they kind of talked about if the Dodgers win the World Series this year, is that is that going to be where a lot of things change and that sort of thing? And I said, maybe, but also what doesn't help their case is the Mets right now,
right? Where
the Mets payroll are number one, technically, when you look at it, and they stink, and they're not playing well. So would you say pump the brakes, full throttle? The Mets playing let's say the Mets miss the playoffs and they continue what they're doing right now, that would be a bigger hit than, for this whole, I'm referring to the lockout potential and labor agreements. That would be a bigger obstacle to kind of overcome or convince others than, say, the Dodgers winning the World Series again. You know what I'm trying to say?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I'll actually go full throttle because that is, look, amongst kind of this constant discussion about money and, in baseball and stuff like that, that's always kind of been the hang up for me, even though as someone who would, like to see the playing field be more quote unquote level, is spending a bunch of money hasn't necessarily guaranteed. Now, in the last 20 years, I think it is there's only been one team in the bottom half of payroll that has won the World Series, and that was the 27 Houston Astros, and I've got a story to tell you about them.
Okay.
Which, the joke there being, obviously, that was the trash can team.
Yeah.
But, so I think spending more money helps, but it's not a guarantee because you mentioned the Mets. Look at the Yankees. They haven't won a World Series since 2009.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the duality of it. But yeah, I think that's something that some people are going to be able to point to and say, hey, yeah, it makes a difference, but it doesn't guarantee you anything because, well, gestures at New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I get maybe this is what I was maybe trying to say. Pump the brakes, full throttle. If the Dodgers don't win the World Series, the next best thing for them is maybe like the Tampa Bay Rays to win the World Series.
Or how about the Milwaukee Brewers?
Yeah, or the Milwaukee Brewers. I was trying to think of another team outside the National League.
Yeah.
Like because then they could say, hey,
someone else did it, yeah.
Tampa Bay, look at where their payroll is, and they won the World
or
Series.
Cleveland or something like that, yeah. I would say probably full throttle that for them, like trying to keep the rules as close to as what they are now, which I'm assuming that's what they would want.
Right.
That would probably be the outcome for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's going to be a debate, but I think it's going to be very hard to overcome. And I think the Dodgers, they're probably going to be one of the teams that are going to fight the whole.
Oh, sure.
But and they could easily look at, hey, Mets, all these Phillies. Phillies are playing better now, but it's. And I honestly, so pump the brakes, full throttle. When you look at those teams, like the Mets or even the Phillies and that, does this almost, and I've been a critic at times of him too, but does it almost give you the sense like this shows kind of the importance of who your manager is? Because Dave Roberts, I was like, okay, look at this team.
Anybody could run this team, but
you look at these other teams that are spending money on this, and then you look at like the Brewers and Pat Murphy and all that. Because I'll admit it, years past, I kind of was like, okay, how important is the manager in baseball? And now you look at it from both ends. The Dodgers with all this talent, and they actually are winning. And then you see teams with all this big payroll and a lot of good players, and they're not winning. And then the Brewers, who are just a bunch of misfits, but they still continue to win with a lot of young. I'm seeing like maybe a change, in my opinion, where, having that right manager is a big, 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 big deal now.
Manager matters.
Managers matter. Heck, Cleveland, for crying out. I know we focus on Pat Murray, but Stephen Vogt's also a back-to-back manager of the year, and they have the second lowest payroll in Major League Baseball.
Right.
So I kind of look at that and like, I'm probably moving up manager on the priority list.
Yeah.
And I know I was kind of critical of but I also think for Dave Roberts, he is under a lot of pressure too, though. You have those players and that you better win, and hey, they have, right? I mean, they have. So, but it's going to be an interesting, I think, how this season finishes off. I think a lot is going to depend on who ends up winning the World Series.
Even though maybe you shouldn't judge on what you just saw, a lot of people will.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I feel like it's going to be a big recency thing.
Yes.
When it comes to it. So, pump the brakes, full throttle right now. If you had to lay a futures bet in Major League Baseball for the awards, Judge and Ohtani are your MVPs. Again.
Probably. I mean, I'm going to go full throttle. Like, that's just a safe bet. You're not going to win much money on it, but it's a safe bet.
Yeah. Because I don't see baseball doing what the NBA does. All right, that guy's won it twice. We're going to go find somebody else.
Right.
Because we talk about that with the NBA MVP all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, Barry Bonds won it 7 times, for crying out loud. And I love the people that are criticizing Ohtani for focusing maybe too much on pitching because his numbers on the offensive side are lacking. The dude's got a sub-1 ERA, for crying out loud. I mean, for God's sakes here.
I don't know. Maybe I'd like him to focus a little less on pitching.
Right? So it's
if that's what he's going to do.
I mean, this guy is unbelievable. It's and the thing is like I kind of trust him to figure it out offensively, and I think he'll be fine. Mm-hmm. I think he's still going to be any opposing team, pitcher, manager saying, okay, he stinks at the plate right now. Let's go after him. You're an idiot, sort of thing. But it's unbelievable what we're watching right now with Ohtani. Unbelievable. So, pump the brakes, full throttle. Let's stay with Major League Baseball. The first quarter of the season, the most disappointing team is the Mets.
Full throttle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't believe us, just ask a Met fan.
Should we ask a Met fan?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a conversation you want to have, but yeah, it's you can see the frustration there, and obviously this is a team that, and I think especially the frustration's there because of the turnover.
Yeah.
And like on the roster. it'd be one. I'm sure they wouldn't be as frustrated if they had brought back Pete Alonso and a lot of these popular players and it wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the first off season I think where you kind of really saw David Stearns try to build a team in his image and the things he likes to do. Maybe the things we saw in Milwaukee a little bit.
Yeah,
and it hasn't worked. And I think that's kind of been the point of contention for Mets fans, where something where you let Pete Alonso go and you bring in Jorge Polanco to play first base, and that really hasn't worked. He's never really played first base full time. He's more of a second baseman or a third baseman, and the pitching. David Stearns, going back to his time in Milwaukee, has never really liked to pay for pitching. He's not alone in that, but he doesn't like to pay for top end pitching. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're not getting great results from those pitchers, then that does not look good.
Right. Could you see potentially maybe Freddie Peralta gets traded before the deadline?
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be something? Man. Because, if the Mets are clearly maybe out of it.
But what's the point of keeping them?
Right. Because maybe he doesn't want to stay there.
David, if you're listening, and I know you probably are, how about do the team that allowed you to kind of exit gracefully, a solid, send Freddie to the AL.
Yeah.
Send him somewhere. Send him to Cleveland or somewhere to Seattle, whoever. Send him somewhere to the AL where he can thrive.
Why do you think he'll thrive in the AL?
Yeah, I just don't want him in the NL.
Okay, that's
I'm just saying, send him somewhere where he can thrive. Not like he will. It's something.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But somewhere he can go.
Essentially, you don't want to have to face him. Potentially.
Correct. Just come on.
Yep.
Do him solid.
Do him solid. Right. Pump the brakes, full throttle though. When it, what was my other baseball one? I had another, and I got sidetracked here. Son of a gun. Oh no, I was gonna just randomly say, would maybe the second one be Toronto? I don't know. 1924 start for Toronto for a team that made the World Series last year.
Maybe, but that's not anything I look at and think, okay, well, I don't know if they can come back from that. You see what the Mets are, I'm like, I think they're probably toast.
Yeah.
I think my NL.
Toronto's still only 2 games back for wild card spots.
Right. For the Mets, it's I picked them to win the NL East. I don't think that's probably good.
This was what I was going to ask. Pump the brakes, full throttle, with it being rivalry weekend in Major League Baseball. Is the best rivalry in baseball still Yankees and Red Sox currently?
I'm gonna say I'll go full throttle, but it's very close because there's a few others. Dodgers Padres is kind of
was my pick.
I say that's become really fun.
That's been my pick. Brewers Cubs have been up there.
I'm throwing Brewers Cubs a bone, especially after last year.
I think historical standpoint, I don't think you can beat Red Sox.
But
from a competitive and anger, it's not the early 2000s that we witnessed.
Yeah, I think when they're not really right this year, but I would say Phillies Mets is in there too. Where when those two teams are going, they're at each other.
Right.
Philly's just at everybody. But those are some other ones I would bring up. But so I would say full throttle, but barely. But Padres Dodgers is, and Giants Dodgers is that way too when the Giants are better.
Right.
But right now Padres are a consistently better team. So.
Yep. I'm probably going to pump the brakes and say the Dodgers and Padres because that was the first team I had. Again, historically, it's Yankees Red Sox, but I think right now, if I had to pick a rivalry to watch, and it's all on TV, I'm turning on Dodgers Padres. Or if it was Brewers Cubs, I'm taking Brewers Cubs off the table here and taking the
putting them off to the side. Boom, not in factor.
Exactly. It's not Brewers Twins. It's
Twins
it's a friendly.
Yes,
it's like soccer.
It's a friendly.
It's a friendly. So, but no, it's a lot of it is both teams are competitive and both teams are good.
Yeah.
That's why we saw Packers Bears up and up.
Right, that rivalry for the first time in a while finally has some juice in it because, for the first time in a while, the Bears are finally good.
Yeah, because it was pretty much just Packers Vikings.
Yeah, and that's why for a time, obviously I'm biased, but I consider that to be a little bit bigger of a rivalry because it was more competitive. Even though you may hate it but that's how any great rivalry has to be competitive. Mm-hmm. You can't be just one team, beating the other every single year. That's fun. Yeah. But that's not that doesn't make a rivalry.
That's why Duke and North Carolina has always kind of been solid too.
A Texas Oklahoma or Alabama-Auburn is weighted in Alabama's favor, but it seems like when Auburn wins, it's always crazy.
Right. Yep. No, I would agree with that. So, or Michigan, Ohio State
Right.
as of late here too.
Right,
So,
yeah, because for that long period when Ohio State won, like, look, that's probably really fun for Buckeyes fans, but, like, kind of makes the rivalry a little boring.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I'd agree. Let's go pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Full throttle. Oh, where's my list? It just went away. Had a couple texts come in. All right. Pump the brakes. Full throttle. The top two right now in. Sorry, I got distracted. Somebody walked
by and you nodded.
I nodded. Pump the brakes. Full throttle. The top two Cy Young candidates in the National League are Paul Skeens and Jacob Misiorowski.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
Right now.
Paul Skeens for sure. I wasn't sure about Miz.
I mean, obviously, maybe Miz and obviously Otani's got to be in there.
That's where I was going. Skeens and Otani.
Come on, come on, Shohei. Let someone else have a little bit of attention.
Spend more time with your dogs. You
don't have to. You don't have to be the best at everything.
Is he though? I mean, he's the best baseball player in our life. Is he, sir? Okay, let me back up here for a second. Okay, the best player during our childhood was Ken Griffey.
I mean, depending on how long you go childhood, and I know this may be a little controversy, but I kind of got to think Barry Bonds too. Like,
okay, so you're picking Bonds or Griffey? Who are you going?
Bonds.
In their primes.
In their primes.
You're going Bonds over Griffey?
Yep.
You are nuts. You really? Wow. Okay.
I would go Bonds.
All right. Well, I'm going Griffey.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
This kind of changes the question I was going to ask, but is Otani the best player in baseball that you've seen in your lifetime?
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously, a big chunk of it is the fact that he does both things. He pitches and hits. Like, that's the ultimate, like,
at a high level,
right,
too.
Right. It's not like he's a great hitter and like a good pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's great at both.
Mm-hmm. I kind of, and this might be a good one here. So I've been toying with an idea, like kind of a new video series and such, something like a sports lab or something. And it was essentially maybe like part of it is Otani versus Ruth. Who wins? And we kind of have some simulations and some numbers and kind of some debate. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Something like that. Would it be kind of
Interesting, yeah.
kind of like a what if sort of thing?
Right.
You know, these matchups that we never got to see, or, you know, kind of the debate. It's like we put them in a lab and it's like celebrity death match with the claymation sort of thing on there. But and obviously Ruth was way before our time, but it sure seems like Otani is a better pitcher than what Ruth was. It's so hard with generation.
It is. It seems that way.
Because this is the thing I think I've gotten better at over the years too. Ruth probably can't pitch in today's game.
Right.
Otani, heck yes, he could pitch back then. Because guys, I'm sorry, are bigger, faster, stronger, probably more athletic. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to compare. Because I know a lot of people will use this saying, well, could they play today's game? Well, a lot of the guys back then probably couldn't. Fuzzy Thurston could not play offensive guard in today's game at 240 pounds or whatever he was, right? But that's not fair to downgrade a guy like Fuzzy Thurston because that was the era.
Yeah, right.
Of course, Brett Favre could play in the 60s, and Brett Favre would probably be the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't know if anybody could catch the ball, though, from Favre the way he threw back then. But, okay, Lamar Jackson running around back in the 60s, anybody catching him? Probably not.
No.
So I don't think it's fair to say, because a lot of people say, well, that guy couldn't play back then, or that guy could play in any era. I think a lot of players in any sport in today's era can play in any era because they are bigger, faster, stronger. Now, rules, could it limit some of them? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you go back to the old physical days.
You know, some quarterbacks, if they went to play back then, they'd have to learn some things.
Yep.
As far as
like a Dick Butkus coming up the middle,
you're
or a Night Train
you're
Lane.
not going to get protected as much, so that's just something you'd have to adjust to.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of the same for basketball for me too. You know, everybody's like, well, LeBron, could he play in that physical era? I think he's got the body size to do it.
Yeah.
I
think he would just be in for a rude awakening the first couple times he tried to flop on, I
would 100% agree with that. So I do think the uniqueness part, though, with like older guys than playing in today's era, like I do feel like Jordan could play in today's era.
I think, yeah, Bird could play today.
You know, that's where then you can say, okay, those are GOATs.
Right.
You know, when you see those guys able to play and older guys playing in the new era, if you will. Because, and I don't mean this in any of this, I don't think Bart Starr could play in today's NFL. You know, like arm strength and all that. I fit from a athletic, physical standpoint. You know, the arm strength and that. That's not a knock on him, though.
Right.
He was great in his generation, in his era.
Yeah, it's not a knock because, I mean, we're speaking of hypotheticals, but we feel like we have some rationale for said hypotheticals.
Somebody asked, are you going Bonds because of the injuries to Griffey? If we take injuries off, though.
I think that's part of it because I think, look, you can say Barry Bonds has two very distinctive, extremely high-level primes. Now, look, you can say why he has a second prime, but, you know, the production's the production, the number's the numbers. And Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he got to San Francisco. He was a completely different player for reasons that we, you know, believe to be true. But at the same time, like, I can't punish him for something that he was never taken off the field. He was never like taken out the field for.
So let me put it this way then. Bonds with Pittsburgh, Griffey with the Mariners.
Okay. I may lean a little bit more towards Griffey then.
Okay.
But the fact is, I mean, you look at Bonds' numbers with the Giants, they are so overwhelming. Like, nobody has, like, gotten even close. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the old, walking in with the bases loaded just so they didn't have to pitch to him to walk in or run stuff.
Yeah, that's sick. So.
Yeah, like, I think at his peak, Griffey obviously all-time great center fielder, like defender, and Bonds played left field, so not as high on the defensive spectrum. But I just think the offense there is just so overwhelming. And yes, it would be maybe a little different if Griffey had aged gracefully into the 2000s. I think that hurts his case.
It does. That's where I was like, okay, what if we narrow it? Because it's two different stories for each player, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
You got Griffey with the Mariners, who's amazing, and, you're talking GOAT net. And like you said, Bonds was a Hall of Famer with Pittsburgh, and then you go to Cincy with the injuries, and then you go Bonds with the Giants with questionable stuff.
I mean, obviously we're like even.
Are you looking up WAR right now?
No, I'm not even classifying this by WAR, but just looking at Bonds, like, obviously we know in 2001 he had 73 home runs, but like 2002, 46 home runs, hits 370 with a 582 on base.
He hit 370,
and this is across 143 games.
He hit 370.
He hit 370. The next year he's 341. The next year he's 362. Like.
Okay, I will say this number surprised me. I did look up WAR between these two.
Yeah.
Somebody is double.
And it's always like, and I'm assuming it's Bonds.
Bonds is double.
And it's always like WAR, depending on who is, compiling it's going to be subjective. Like, his early in the year, earlier in his career, he's going to have great defensive numbers. Look, by the end of his career, Barry Bonds was not a good defensive player. That's not how he was out there. But like, the crazy thing I look at is like Bonds was never, like, as much as we think of him as this big slugger, he was never a strikeout guy. His career strikeout rate is 12%. Like, and I mentioned that 2002. He walked a third of the time. One of every three plate appearance ended in a walk for him. He struck out less than 8% of the time that year.
I might throw this out for everybody else to kind of chime in, but let me phrase it this way and see if you would agree with how I phrase it. Instead of saying who's better, whose career would you rather have?
Okay.
Is that fair?
No, that's very fair. Because then you have to factor in Ken Griffey's a Hall of Famer, Barry Bonds is not.
Right.
Ken Griffey, I think probably universally a beloved player. Barry Bonds is not.
Right.
Like, yeah, Yeah,
But
that's I think it. Yeah,
officially, Bonds' numbers are on the top.
yeah.
Right.
Bonds has the superior numbers. Neither player won a World Series.
Mm-hmm. So, okay.
Barry Bonds has hit the most home runs in baseball history, but he is not. He's not always viewed as being the home run king.
And I think,
Yeah.
and I think for this, we have to do our best to take away personal feelings.
Yes.
Because, no, I don't think a lot of us would probably, like, we're going to look at Bonds and be like, for example, my kid who's going to be 9 is like, no, it's Hank Aaron's, because he knows, like, what Bonds did.
Right.
I think for this exercise, try to take away your personal feelings towards it and look at it and be like, would I have done what Bonds did and this is what I get?
Yeah.
Or do I go with Griffey and there's a big what if I don't get hurt?
Right. And to me, that's what makes this a lot more of a conversation, because there's so many more factors in play.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just looking at production.
Yep. Let's dive into this in the next hour for sure. Really dive into it. I think we found a good topic to hit.
Yeah.
Let's get some people chiming in on this. So we're playing a little behind, so we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Summer is almost here, and that means it is time to hit the road in something that you love. At Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Looking for power, comfort, reliability, they've got it all backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure that you are riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. All right, so I'm going to we got to take another break because we got off on a tangent, but I'm glad we did because we're going to dive into this in the next hour, but I'm going to add 2 more sports to this conversation. So if you're just joining in, Brandon and I were talking about little Bonds and Griffey, and what are you looking at me like that for? You're like pondering, like what? Bonds, Griffey, do your best to try to take away your personal feelings, but what career would you rather have if you were put into those? And everything's on the table.
Everything is in play.
Everything's in play. I want to add a football and an NBA thing to this.
Good.
So in the next 8 minutes, let's try to figure out a duo for each. I do have one for the NBA, but I don't know if it's the best one. I actually have a couple of them. I've got a couple, but I don't know if it's the best one. So I'll throw the 2 NBA ones out for consideration. We're going 90s type of era.
Okay.
Penny Hardaway or Grant Hill. Or Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. David Robinson has a championship. Patrick does not. Mm-hmm. I was going to put Olajuwon in there, but I don't know if that one's fair because Olajuwon's actually really, or do I put Olajuwon in there?
I mean, but like
Olajuwon has the advantage over David Robinson and Patrick, I feel like.
I think so. I think Olajuwon has gotten more play than Robinson has. So I think Robinson v. Ewing is a good one.
Okay. And that's tough. There's got to be some other ones I'm maybe just blanking on. Okay. I got it. Malone or Barkley?
I know what my answer would be, but yeah,
that's we got time to maybe figure out another one.
Yeah.
But football, I'm looking at quarterbacks. I feel like one's got to be Marino.
As kind of the
the
cream of the crop of guys that did not win a championship.
Compared to, do I say Favre? Or is that not fair?
I don't know if that's. I mean, Favre's
we won 3 MVPs. So
yeah, so I get what you're kind of going for. Like,
okay,
how about Marino? I mean, they're not the same era though. Because otherwise, I was thinking. I mean, the goal would be like versus Eli Manning.
Okay. Otherwise, I was going to say Marino or Aikman. You got championships, but you're not.
That one's fair. I mean, and Aikman's got 3 championships, so maybe that's fair.
But do you put him as one of the best quarterbacks?
Would you say Aikman's better than Marino as a quarterback?
Right. Which career would you rather have?
Yeah.
So, you want to do that one?
Yeah, we had some good ones here.
So just kind of throwing some of those out there,
Yeah.
or I mean, you could insert Young instead of Aikman if you want to make it a little bit not as many championships. You know, because I could see some people say, "Well, 3 championships, duh."
Yeah.
So maybe it's Young versus Marino.
Yeah.
You know, because he's got the one as a starter.
Right.
So maybe we'll do Young versus Aikman. Or Young versus
Marino.
Well, we could do Young versus Aikman too. Like really relive the 80s or 90s, but I feel like Marino's got to be in there. And Elway won the 2 at the end. So that's
he got too much.
Yeah. All right, we got to take our final break here. But if you have any suggestions in the next few minutes, send them on over. We're gonna have some fun in the 9 o'clock hour. All right, we'll be right back after these quick words. All right, shot clock's going to cut us off here in like 10, 15 seconds. So we're going to kick off the next hour here in just a couple minutes. So we'll see where the conversation, we'll re-kick it, kind of putting a poll out here. All things are on the table. Try to keep your personal feelings away, but what career would you rather have? Ken Griffey Jr. or Barry Bonds, right? And then we're going to do an NBA one. We'll finalize.
We got some other ones sprouting out.
Yep, and we'll finalize that and the NFL one too. So, all right, news updates. We'll be back. All right, the final hour coming your way on this Friday morning, and I think I've amped myself up maybe a little too much for this one because I'm excited for what our conversation is going to be. It fits our TGIF podcast Friday thing, like 90s, 2000s sort of thing. Brandon and I just randomly stumbled into this. I think this is a good debate topic.
It is.
And it's a fun one.
Because you take because you're factoring everything in.
Right. So let's set the stage.
I'm assuming afterwards you're going to create a series of polls for these too, right?
I could.
Yeah,
that's a very good idea. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so you got your Facebook page too. Share it on there. So
I will, but you obviously you're patient zero for creating this.
Okay. All right. So what we are doing here, in case you're just like, what the heck are you guys talking about? We somehow stumbled into this conversation. Started off, which career would you rather have, Griffey or Barry Bonds? Because I think we were talking about Ohtani a little bit. Was it the best player we have seen? And I thought you were going to say Griffey, and you did it. So
but
it's
and we're factoring everything in, not just like stats, but also legacy, production, popularity, everything.
And try to take away,
if you may not, because we're going to have some other examples. You may not, if you may not, like some player or something we bring up, or maybe one of these players is your favorite player.
Right. If this was you, somebody hands you 2 cards and you get to choose one, or you got to go down 2 paths.
And everything is involved.
Everything's involved. Which one would you rather have? And we're going to make the cases for each side and then kind of make our point. So baseball is Bonds and Griffey Jr. NBA and NFL, we're going to do threesomes on this.
Yeah, three-way. We got like questions with 3 possible answers.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we found some examples where like there's 3 that are similar.
Yeah. So football, it's all quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We're going to go Dan Marino, Steve Young, and we're going to throw Jim Kelly into this conversation. Dan Marino went to 1 Super Bowl early and then never went back. Jim Kelly went to 4 in a row, never won one. Steve Young was a backup for a hot minute, but then won one as a starter. Prime was good.
I would say had maybe the smallest prime of the 3. Mm-hmm. But all these obviously Hall of Fame, great players.
Yep. So of those 3, whose career would you rather have? And I think it's going to be interesting. Do you focus on championships? Do you focus on just trying it?
You focus on numbers. You focus on reputation. I mean, even though all 3 of those guys have like good reputations, but I mean like what they're known for, legacy.
Yep. And then basketball, this one was hard to kind of just pinpoint certain positions. Like we were going back and forth. Do we do point guards? Essentially what happened was Jordan ruined a lot of it for a lot of people. So we
may have a category that's just called Michael Jordan Ruined My Life.
Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone. So, yes, 2 power forwards and a center under. But they had similar finishes to their careers because they tried to capture 1.
Yeah, they've
been to finals.
Yep.
Ewing a little bit later on, which was kind of the, because that was when the Knicks were the 8 seed. Remember that in 2000?
Well, but was he still there then?
Yeah.
But
he was hurt or something.
But they also went 94.
Oh, that's right. Against Houston. You're right.
Houston.
Yep. You're right.
So
because why? Jordan wasn't there. So, but yeah, good call on that one because they lost to the Olajuwon and the Rockets. So
yeah,
if Shaq had never won, we would put Shaq in there, but Shaq did end up winning. So could put Orlando.
I was going to say another one, and maybe this isn't a question, but like another just straight up, even though they're way different. Whose career would you rather have, Kobe or Shaq?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will probably say Kobe, but I think it's closer than you'd think.
I think it's closer too. Do you want it to be considered as potentially the most dominant center? Or Kobe, who I think is getting more appreciation, but I also think he got stuck in the middle between Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah.
So he's kind of maybe not thought of as much as he should be.
Yeah.
He was that guy right in the middle between the two. So, all right, should we jump into it?
Yeah.
You look like you're pondering.
Well, no, because if we circle back to this Kobe Shaq thing, I have a.
We'll circle back. We got time.
Okay, because there was something I just thought, a point that I brought up that I think would be useful in that conversation. But
okay.
If we come back to that, I'll bring it up.
Okay. What do we want to start? What sport? Should we just start baseball since we kind of started on that one first? So you went with the Bonds angle first. And then between breaks, you were going through some of the numbers and such. And so you went with the Bonds angle. I was kind of with the Griffey one, but we changed it up now. You've got you got numbers from Bonds, and Griffey's got great numbers too.
Right.
But there's always, I think the big thing is with Griffey is the what if. What if he didn't get hurt? And I don't know if he lives with that. It would live with me for a little bit. Like
he's a Hall of Famer, but if he doesn't get hurt, is he an all-time great? Is he a top 5 all-time guy?
And some will view him already as a top 5, and that's perfectly fine.
Yep.
Everybody can and maybe I do too. We don't know yet, but So we got him, and then obviously never won a World Series.
Mm-hmm. Neither of these guys did.
Neither of these guys did. But and I think you do factor in Griffey, obviously, with the icon legend 90s. He was kind of Jordan-esque with the logo a little bit, backwards hat.
Right.
Pop culture.
He was the face of baseball.
Yep. Backwards hat, home run derby. Video games, for crying out loud. So he was kind of like that Michael Tiger Woods type of athlete. So, but again, the injuries kind of stalled a lot of things for him. Whereas Barry Bonds, as you mentioned, was a Hall of Famer with Pittsburgh beforehand, before going to the Giants.
I mean, he was 6 years into his career, but he had 1990. He puts up a season with 33 homers, 52 steals, 301 hits, 301. He's putting up he has multiple 30 home run near three. He has a pair of 30 seasons already. He's trending in a good direction. And then obviously you see the numbers kind of change.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of these career highlights and awards for each of these guys, okay? Really quick. Let's start with Griffey, 13-time All-Star. This kind of surprised me, won an MVP once. Won American League MVP in 1997.
I think some of these awards and stuff he's going to not have a higher number of, just simply because of the injuries.
Yep. 10-time Gold Glove, 7-time Silver Slugger, Comeback Player of the Year in 2005. That's kind of the main ones I'll go through. Hall of Fame too, which is something we have to include on this. Barry Bonds, 14-time All-Star, 7-time MVP, 8-time Gold Glove winner, 12-time Silver Slugger, and not in the Hall of Fame. And maybe won't be. Who knows? But, of course, his record, 762 career home runs, 73 home runs in a single season. So, and there's some other records on there too, but those are the big ones when people think about Barry Bonds. So, whose career? When you got to take everything with it. Ken Griffey hit for a career 284, 2,781 hits, 630 home runs, 1,836 RBIs. Barry Bonds, 298 career batting average, 2,935 hits, 762 home runs, 1,996 ribbies.
I think to me it comes down to one thing. Are you comfortable being considered a quote-unquote pariah in your own sport? Are you confident, comfortable enough, to say, hey, you know what? I accomplished what I accomplished. I did what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I may still lean Bonds for that reason, where if you can live with that, if you can just be like, hey, look, it is what it is.
And this is going to be a personal, everybody's going to be different. Can they,
can you?
And I don't think he has any regrets from what we've heard.
I've never heard that. And he was, he post-career was a coach in the majors. I think
Marlins, he was a hitting coach.
He was a hitting coach for a while. Let's put it this way. If you're Barry Bonds, if it doesn't bother you that you're not a Hall of Famer, and that you're probably never going to be a Hall of Famer, and that people may always kind of give you the side eye a little bit when they see your stats and stuff.
Yeah. Because officially, his numbers are recognized.
Yes.
Now, if they weren't recognized, would that change?
Probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
Probably. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they are recognized officially, now, whether you want to say, oh, no, he's the home run king, or if it's Hank Aaron, hey, whatever, that's on you. That's up to you.
Yep.
But according to the MLB records, Barry Bonds.
Right.
So I think I would still give the slight edge to Bonds. I think my opinion, I would just say Bonds. But it's close because, again, once we factor everything in.
Yep. I think for me, I am still going Griffey. and there's one word that comes to my mind, it's legacy. And how do you want to be viewed when people look back at your career? And yeah, it's going to stink because there's a what if. You can't control injuries. You can't control how Bonds could control what he did, right? For some allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly.
what we believe, what is alleged.
And it stinks. It feels bad. Probably the numbers could have been bigger for Griffey if he would have been able to stay healthy. But in terms of a legacy, Griffey's legacy is still, like, even when you ask a lot of people, they'll probably say, well, if he did stay healthy, he would have been one of the GOATs. And I think my personal preference would be, I'd be like, it's kind of almost an honorary, like, no offense, but title sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's something like that, but I think I'd rather have that, where there was no question surrounding the integrity of how I did it or my legacy.
And the interesting thing, too, with this is you're talking about 2 second-generation players who had very good fathers who played. So they were born into this. I mean, they were, baseballers from, I'm sure, the time they could crawl.
Right.
So it's kind of similar in that way, too.
Yeah. It's an interesting conversation. And by the way, when you're done listening to this, we're going to, like you said, put up polls. We want to hear where the votes would go.
Right.
And try your best to keep, like, I would never do that. What Bonds? Yeah. Well, try to imagine yourself. And it's kind of like making maybe a deal with the devil. Hey, this is what you get.
Yeah.
This is what you get. This is but this is what you get. Look at the positive
this is what you get, but this is what you get.
Right. Exactly. So, should we move to the next one?
Yeah.
Want to do football?
Yeah.
So, Marino, Kelly, Young. Now, Marino, let's start with Marino first. Dan Marino is constantly, when you talk about some of the best NFL players of all time to not win a championship, Marino is constantly up there.
He's at pretty much at the top of that list.
Barry Sanders, you put up there and such. I think it's fair to say Dan Marino's name is mentioned before Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
Right?
When you're thinking of, like, those skill guys, Sam, I would throw Randy Moss out there.
Yep. Good point. Marino, MVP one time. He had the touchdown record up until Favre broke it. 3-time first-team All-Pro, 5-team second-team All-Pro, 9. If Pro Bowls when they actually matter, 9 times.
Yes.
And so one of the best passers of all time.
That's what people, when they talk about Dan Marino, like, just being like a pure quarterback, a pure thrower.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you talk about a guy that probably would be very successful in today's game too.
Yeah.
With the style, right? I mean, and Marino, I think it's worth mentioning too, when you talk about the top 100 players of all time, when the NFL has done it a couple times, he has been mentioned and he's been ranked very highly. He is on that list. Whereas, like in the latest one, Jim Kelly was. He's not mentioned in that same top 100 list as like a Marino is, or even Steve Young, who our next one is too. So, and Kelly is interesting too because he began his career where? In the USFL.
Oh, so Steve Young. So that's kind of so with these two.
Right. So the big thing is with Kelly, he was just a 1-time All-Pro, first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, but went to those 4 straight Super Bowls, which is unique, but lost each one of those, which is still significant when you think about it. And then you've got Steve Young, who originally, began his career in the USFL, then Tampa Bay, then came over in San Francisco, was the backup to Joe Montana. Technically a 3-time Super Bowl winner, but one as a starter. On there. 2-time MVP, won the MVP twice, and was a Super Bowl MVP. So numbers-wise aren't probably going to be, in terms of like yards and that. He's got records for passer rating and such, but when we talk about like touchdown passes, and he's probably got rushing yards, up there too for Steve Young. What are you looking at me like that for? Oh, you're looking at me like I did something wrong. So, but Steve Young, 232 touchdown passes. Jim Kelly, 237. Dan Marino, 420. Whose career would you rather have between these 3? I think I've got and I think we have to factor in too Steve Young with the concussion sores again?
Yeah.
With the injuries and such?
I mean, that he probably would have played a longer. But also the thing, too, you mentioned some of those stats. Steve Young, great running quarterback. One of the best running quarterbacks ever. So his rushing numbers, just factor those in, too.
Yep, 100%. So
this one, I think I know which direction I would go. And I think it's Dan Marino. I think I'm going to go Dan Marino. It was close for me with Marino and Steve Young. I do think Steve Young does not necessarily get as much play as maybe he should as an all-time great, in part because maybe a smaller body of work, but I still think an influential body of work.
Yeah.
But I think I would go Dan Marino.
If you were to rank them, it sounds like Kelly would be third on your list.
I think so. And look, I mean, obviously all three, all-timers, all Hall of Famers, all should be very comfortable and happy with their careers. But obviously here we're splitting hairs. That's what this exercise is about. We're splitting hairs.
I would agree with you that Kelly would probably be third on my list. But I'm actually going to go the opposite way here. Now, hear me out here. If I had to pick between the two quarterbacks of who I'd want on my team, I'd probably pick Dan Marino. But if I'm looking at careers and the big thing for me is the ring, the championship.
Well, as a starter.
Yes,
and then two,
as a starter.
And, I mean, three total. But.
And that I'm looking at the one as a starter.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to admit, but I'm looking at him. Because here's the thing. I'll go back to legacy again. And while I think Dan Marino is the better quarterback between him and Steve Young, and I think Steve Young gets underrated, the more you kind of, I don't want the label as best to not win.
That's fair.
That to me would just bother me. to dang it. Yeah. And he played for a long time. He got a taste of it early and never went back. So I don't know if I would want the label of best to not win. You know what I mean? That just, ugh.
You think, I was thinking about this when we were kind of going through this. You think Jim Kelly just has a dislike for the NFC East?
Probably. Probably.
Because two to the Cowboys, one to the Giants, one to Washington.
Yeah. Yep. So, but then, when I'm saying this too, the other side is, would you rather have Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith's career?
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith has the records and the rings.
Yeah.
But I think a majority would say Barry Sanders was the better running back.
Right.
So that one's tough for me, and that one's because I don't want to say I'm Barry Sanders just from a explosive standpoint.
It's tough because Barry Sanders is probably my second favorite football player of all time.
Right.
I also don't want to downplay Emmitt Smith because Emmitt Smith was a great running back. Mm-hmm. But he was great, and I think he would have been great if he played elsewhere.
Yes.
But he also was in a ideal situation. You look at that offensive line, that team just in general.
Yep.
Yeah,
he had more weapons and more help.
Yes. Which on the one hand is a good thing, but on the other hand, when you played the Lions, Barry Sanders getting the ball, but the defense also knew, no disrespect to Brett Perriman and Johnny Morton and Herman Moore, but you weren't Michael Irvin.
Right. And you didn't have that massive offensive line.
Right. Scott Mitchell and Eric Kramer throwing the ball, not quite the same as Troy Aikman.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So a little bit different on that one.
A
little bit different.
We got one
more.
But
it's interesting because, again, I would pick Marino as the better quarterback.
I think we're kind of on the same wavelength. We just look at things a little bit differently, which is good.
Yep. Now the NBA. The mailman who does not deliver on Sundays
might be that might be the greatest piece of trash talk of all time.
I think so too.
That is such a great line.
Yep.
Kudos to you, Scottie Pippen.
Yep.
What a great line.
Yeah. The round mound of rebound. Charles Barkley. Now we're just talking about playing careers, so we're not going to talk about post careers and such.
Patrick Ewing doesn't have a nickname.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I swear he did. Let me look it up here quick. He had to have.
I don't remember. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a nickname for Patrick Ewing.
It's this one I never heard. It says his most iconic nickname is the Hoya Destroyer.
Okay, yeah, okay. When he was at Georgetown.
Other common nicknames: Big Pat, the Big Fella, and Beast.
I like the Big Fella.
I guess Pat's is a short one.
Yeah, but Hoya Destroyer. That kind of I'm from his college days at Georgetown. That kind of but still not as synonymous as the other two.
Yeah. All right, so of those three who have never been, now this one's a unique. They've never won a championship, but they've all. Now Patrick went to his championships with his original team. Barkley went with the Suns. Did he go? I don't think he went with the Sixers. No. Then he went to the Rockets to try to and didn't. Malone went a couple times with the Jazz and the Lakers once, but never won.
Yes.
So of those three, who are you picking? I think I know where I'm going.
I think I do too.
Start at number 3 for you.
Well, that's the thing, because like for me, I think this one's I get Bonds and Griffey's close. This one is closer to me than the quarterback's one.
Okay.
I think my number 3 is Ewing.
That's my number 3 too.
I think so, but it's close.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, these are 3 really good choices because they're all very similar. Again, all Hall of Famers, all great players, all should be very happy with their careers, even though they ultimately did not win championships. I think Ewing is my number 3.
I think what doesn't help Ewing is that he also played an era where there was a few other big men that are like Hall of Famers, the Dream, Robinson, Shaq, those guys. Because when you look at, he only made one All-NBA first team, and that was 1990.
Yeah.
He was a 6-time second All-NBA team, 88, 89, 91 to 93, and then 97. But you got the Dream Olajuwon in there. You've got, those guys. David Robinson with the scoring title the 1 year between him and Shaq. So I think that's one of the things that almost hurts him a little bit. But one of the greatest centers of all time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Number 2 for you. Because I have Ewing at 3 too.
Okay, and I think my number 2 is Karl Malone.
Okay, we're going to be different then.
Okay,
so
all right. No, this is good that we're different on all of these.
Yep.
And then that would make. I think of the 3, the career I would most want to have is Charles Barkley.
Okay, so
even just factoring playing career.
Yep. So let me go through some of the numbers here for you. Charles Barkley was a 1-time MVP in '93, 11-time NBA All-Star. 5-time first team, 5-time second team, did make a third team in '96, and played those last 4 years with the Rockets and such. Karl Malone, 2-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, actually won the All-Star game MVP twice. I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, 11-time first team, 2-time second team, and then was a third team as well. He scored a career 36,928 points per game. Charles Barkley, 23,757. Patrick Ewing was 24,815. It's close, but I think numbers-wise for me.
Because I actually made my decision without looking at numbers.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you're right. I mean, Malone has a more prolific, both in numbers and achievements. I mean, Barkley had a lot, but Malone had more.
But what I give Barkley more credit, though, too, is he's a power forward, but he was a small power forward.
He was like, what, 6'6"?
6'6". And you look at Malone, and he's just like this. He is like a built dude. It's interesting. I know this is a debate amongst people for some reason. Tim Duncan, who's 6'11", some people think he's a center. Tim Duncan, who's 6'11", tall, kind of lanky. Malone is just built like you don't want to mess with him. And then you got Barkley, who's 6'6". You have 3 different types of power forwards.
And a little round.
Right, yeah.
A little round.
So, I mean, they're unique in that aspect, but I just think Malone, during that Jordan midnight, it felt like it was either Jordan or Malone, at that time as the best players. So if you take Jordan out of it, I go to Karl Malone. And the fact that, even when they went to the finals twice with the Jazz, you had a Western Conference that still had a Rockets team. Remember they beat Barkley's Rockets. That's weird to say. But, Stockton made that 3. I still remember that last second shot and such. They went through, you had the Sonics, and the Lakers were just starting.
Right, yeah.
Just kind of starting and such. So, yeah, I'd probably go Malone if I had to pick between the 2.
Yeah, like once you bring out the numbers, you make a better case for it.
So, but I would have no problem if anybody wanted to go Barkley too, because I think it does help his case that the guy was 6'6" and he was still dominating down there
and
too.
And because he was with the Sixers, and then he went to the Suns and won an MVP. Like that was almost like his second act.
Yeah. Yep.
Again, this category could just be called Michael Jordan ruined my life.
Michael Jordan ruined my life. And the interesting thing here is too is that they were both on the night. All three were on the '92 Dream Team.
Nice.
So, and I believe okay. So Barkley and Malone were also on the '96 one, but Patrick has another gold from the '84 Los Angeles.
Oh well, yeah, because at college, that's one. Yeah.
So they actually both have 2 gold medals.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, let's put it out to a vote. All of you, vote. Whose career would you rather have? Do you want to do the Kobe and Shaq one, or should we save that one for later?
Let's say, when we come back.
Okay.
Let's talk when we come back. Because we got some breaks we got to take.
All right, yeah, we do. All right, quick break. We'll be right back after these few words. All right, before we take our next break here, Brandon, let's finish our conversation here. So you earlier had brought up, since we're talking about whose career would you rather have and such, you brought up Kobe and Shaq now. Because you said you saw this somewhere, or you just
I think this is. I mean, obviously, this is always just kind of I think a conversation. They both won together. They both won championships apart.
Kobe more than Shaq.
Yeah,
I think, right? Yeah, Kobe's got more championships. No,
because
Shaq's got 5.
Yeah,
Does he have 5?
You have the technology. Yeah, because Shaq has won.
He's won with Miami, but I think he's only got 4. 3 with the Lakers. And, 4-time champion. Shaq's only got 4.
And Kobe got 5?
I think Kobe's got 5. Let me just double check. I thought one had more than the other. Yeah, he's got 5. Okay, yeah. It's like, shh, don't.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because he won 2 of them with 09 and 10. He went back-to-back.
Okay. And this is going to break your heart, too, because, Shaq could have 5.
Stop. Nick Anderson.
They could be even.
He could have more if he would.
But here's the thing: if they wins one, does he just stay in Orlando?
I know.
If Orlando ownership doesn't cheap out.
But here's the other thing: who ruined that? Michael Jordan. So
Michael Jordan
ruined it. Oh, I still remember that last playoff series and Shaq's last years in Orlando, and the Bulls knocked him out. And what was it? Was it Nick Anderson too? That the year before said 45 and 23. It's like, why?
Never say anything to Michael Jordan ever.
Yeah, God.
But my thinking on this is obviously I feel like people probably in an all-time lens view Kobe better than Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Because, my thing, though, is, who would you say was, more dominant?
Shaq.
And my comparison for Shaq, now, obviously not when it comes to accomplishments, but just, they're, I don't know how to say, their physical dominance or what, because, Shaq's Hall of Famer, Shaq's an all-time great. I don't think people don't view Shaq as, the best center of all time.
The thing that I think hurts Shaq is this narrative, and I think it's an accurate narrative, that if he would have stayed in shape and worked harder, he would have been unstoppable.
Right. And while the person I'm going to compare him to is not the same in that way, but I think just from a physical tools dominant for their position, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
I don't and I've had this conversation with friends of mine who are not Vikings fans, I think Adrian Peterson, I'm like, I can't put Adrian Peterson in that category, but as far as just a physical marvel for what he did and the physicality he brought to his position.
When Shaq was in shape and he could run the floor,
get
out of the way.
Right. And that's kind of how I feel like it was with Peterson. But I would never put Peterson above Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton.
Correct. Yep.
He's a Hall of Famer.
If you're asking me who the best center is of all time, I'd probably pick Kareem. But dominance is Shaq's size and physicality.
Explosive. And that's kind of my thing too. Even a little bit with Randy Moss, Jerry Rice. Mm-hmm. Randy Moss is my favorite player of all time. Jerry Rice is the best receiver of all time. Randy Moss is the most explosive receiver of all time.
Mm-hmm. Bingo. I think that's a good one there. Yep. Randy Moss is the most athletic, most explosive than Jerry Rice.
And he changed the game.
Yep.
But Jerry Rice is the best receiver of all time.
Mm-hmm. So you want some numbers here quick?
Yeah.
So Shaq, 4-time MVP, 4-time champion, 3-time finals MVP. This is the thing that these two have it just mind-boggling. They only have one MVP apiece.
Wow, yeah.
Shaq won his in 2000. Kobe won his in 2008. Kobe's a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. So math tells us Shaq won the NBA Finals MVP. All 3 that they won together. Kobe won the 2 separate. So Shaq, Dwayne Wade won the one with the Heat, which is,
yeah.
So 8, and remember Kobe played a little bit longer too because he was coming out of high school.
Yeah, and Kobe just on the one team. Obviously, Shaq was a bit nomadic at the end.
And honestly, this is where it kind of hurts me a little bit for Shaq. Whereas Kobe was still pretty effective towards the end.
Yeah.
Not Kobe level, but still pretty.
Yeah, whereas Shaq, at the end was kind of Yeah, he was he was more of a role player.
So Shaq Diesel or Mamba mentality, whose career would you rather have?
And this is tough for me because
we're just talking career. We're not talking about life.
Right.
I'm saying I know Kobe's not around, so
but just career. And this is one where I actually have to think of it because I just like Shaq more.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect to Kobe. I don't know. I always gravitated more towards Shaq.
Yeah. Well, Shaq was my favorite player, my first favorite player of all time.
Yes.
And I love Shaq, but I will say this. Over the last few years, I've grown more of an affinity for Kobe. And yes, I was one of those when it was Kobe and Shaq. Fans had to pick sides.
Especially at the end.
Right? I mean, we had to pick sides. And I was Team Shaq. I was not a Kobe fan. So with all the drama, can you imagine that drama if Twitter was around?
Oh, my gosh. My gosh.
But so I was a Shaq. I was a Shaq guy. But I have grown the last few years a bigger appreciation and admiration the more you found out how Kobe went about his, basketball and that. And I honestly feel like I could be convinced Kobe or LeBron. I'm teetering there. And I don't know if I'm ready yet.
Yeah.
Jordan's one. Kobe is the closest to Jordan in terms of play style, body type.
Yeah, they were similar in that way. LeBron,
Yep.
And the thing that always, and I'm not the biggest LeBron fan in the world, but the thing you always have to give LeBron is longevity.
Yep.
He's been doing this for 23 years.
He's kind of like Shaq in the sense of his body, his physicality. Like, he's a big dude, but he can play out. He's like, if LeBron's body size almost reminds me of Karl Malone.
Yeah, where he's built.
Right. But Karl Malone didn't have the outside game, didn't have the speed or anything like LeBron. Like, LeBron would probably be an all-pro tight end, during his peak. As much as I have, really, really, really loved Kobe over the years, I still probably go Shaq.
I think I would, too.
Yeah.
And that's just personal opinion.
Yeah.
That's another one where you can go either way.
Yeah.
And it's solely off of Kazam.
Really quick, because we're really behind here.
Yeah, we are. This is as much as we've ever.
I remember having a Beckett Price guide in the mid-'90s. And I think it was 96. I could be wrong. But I think it was like a Team USA cover. And I just remember there was an ad for Kazam in there. And thinking, I want to go see this movie. And I never did. To this day, I have not seen Kazam. I know it's probably for the best.
I think we need a watch along. Summer watch along. We watch Kazam.
I'm game. But I remember sitting in my room going through my cards, and there was always that. I'm just like, I really, because I was such a Shaq fan. Never saw it. And I've never saw what's the one where it's like Shaq Steel or something? I don't know. I think it's a wannabe RoboCop or something. But, yeah. Good Burger and Blue Chips are the best Shaq movies. His appearance in Good Burgers. Oh, man. Good stuff. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. We got to take a quick break. We got to play a little catch up, but we'll be right back after these few words. Switching gears back to some Wisconsin-related stuff. Sam Decker is back stateside for one, but back in the Division I college basketball world. He has been hired as an assistant coach for the Gamecocks, South Carolina, which, if you know your Badger connections, Lamont Paris is over there as the head coach. So Sam Decker, like you mentioned, probably done playing overseas and now jumping into the coaching world.
That's cool.
So,
yeah, and that's tough. I mean, because anyone that follows him on social media, obviously he's back here stateside in Wisconsin when he's not playing overseas. But his wife, obviously, she's in the sports media world, have a couple kids. That's got to be tough, kind of traversing the world in that way. But that's a really cool opportunity to land.
now I know there was some discussion this offseason about maybe a change at head coach at South Carolina with Lamont. He got off to a really good start, I think, with South Carolina. But Lamont, Paris, yeah. You know it's going to happen. Eventually, there's going to be Badgers fans saying, is there going to be a path back to Madison on the bench as an assistant or whatever the case may be? Let's just say we'll see, right? We can't forecast that.
Nope.
We can't forecast that. And I'm sure there's going to be some fans saying, well, it should be him over Brad Davison or something like that. It's just, well, let's see him get his chops. Chops, I don't know what I was going to say there. Let's get him some experience and such. But no, it's a cool story. I think that's a cool story. So, but I was looking on his Twitter and I don't think he's said anything about. He's got to be done playing, I would imagine.
With the way the seasons and stuff go, I don't think,
Yeah, but I wonder, though, too, with his connections overseas. Because, when the Badgers made their, who's the big man that they brought over that he played with, Blanket, but he kind of chimed in on that and said, so I wonder if this would be something about.
It's also kind of maybe they're taking more of an approach to like the international recruiting market.
Right.
Could be.
So, but all right. Just wanted to pass that along in case you didn't hear. Ooh, here's a good one. Allen Iverson or Steve Nash?
Yeah.
The answer or the former soccer player? Two-time MVP, which Shaq probably should have won one of them. I will agree with Shaq on that.
I don't know. I'm still, again, taking.
I was not an Allen Iverson fan.
Neither was I, but obviously a tremendous career. But taking emotion out of it, it's like I'm still bitter about 2001.
Oh yeah, with the Bucks,
and that had nothing to do with Iverson. That was, but still.
Ooh, that is actually a good one. Do I want MVP? I don't think Allen Iverson won one MVP. I think.
Yeah.
If he did win at least one, I'm probably.
Didn't he win it that year?
2001.
Because you said Shaq won the year before.
2001. Yep.
Yeah, I think he won it that year.
I'm probably going AI. If he hadn't won, I'd probably go Nash. But he got one, so I'm probably going to go AI.
The Answer is a great nickname, though.
Yeah.
I like that more than AI.
I do, too. Especially now. Yeah, I like The Answer better. Yep. I don't think Steve Nash was listed as a top 75 player of all time. Let me double check. I could be completely wrong. Let me double check. He doesn't look like it. Which is kind of weird for a two-time MVP to not be on. Oh, no, he is. Okay. Never mind.
Then yeah.
I was like, whew, that'd be something. But I'd probably go The Answer. Yeah, Allen Iverson, even though I was not a fan. I just remember the step over on Ty Lue in game one of that finals too.
Cold-blooded, man.
You want to talk about center since we were talking Matt Geiger coming off the bench for the 76ers? Or who was the other guy? Was it like McCollum or some dude?
Oh, Todd McCullough?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so here, future podcasts, like 90s big men. Like 90s centers, not Ewing.
Not Hall of Famers.
No. We're going to go into Greg Ostertag territory.
Rick Smits.
Theo Ratliff.
Luke Longley.
Let's go.
Bill Wennington. Yes. I have been waiting my life.
Frank Burkowski.
We are avoiding Ronnie Cycli.
Too handsome. According to the This Magic Moment documentary, he was too handsome.
This is my life's work if we're talking about that topic on a future episode.
Hey, next Friday,
all right.
90s NBA centers.
Yes.
There we go.
That are not Hall of Famers.
Yeah, okay, no David Robinson, no Patrick Ewing.
No Shaq.
No
Olajuwon.
No,
I'm going to say this. No Dikembe.
Yeah, no, like no All-Stars?
We might have to do some digging.
Yeah, that would require...
Because Rick Smith's made an All-Star team.
Okay, yeah.
Rick Smith has to be a part of this.
No All-Pros?
Or All-NBA?
Yeah, no All-NBAs?
Let me look up Rick Smith.
Because some of these guys might be like... Because like Theo Ratliff had to be like All-NBA.
He was like a defensive guy.
Yeah.
So Rick Smith's, he made an All-Rookie first team.
Okay,
but
that's it. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Theo. Let me just look up Theo.
Theo
really
Ratliff, baby.
Theo Ratliff. Two-time defensive second team.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, I feel like he was involved in like 7 trades.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh, Eric Montross.
I remember having an Eric Montross rookie card and like being pumped.
I remember sending a letter to the Orlando Magic saying, please trade for Eric Montross.
After Shaq left?
After Shaq. I was not Ronnie Cycli fan.
Is it because he was too handsome?
Probably.
And his teammates didn't like to play for him because he was taking all the women?
Probably. Probably. So, we got to throw Tree Rollins into this thing, too.
I was going to have you say it. I wasn't going to.
Okay. All right. We're way behind. We got to take some breaks.
Stay on your feet.
So, we'll be right back after these quick words. All right, should we just run through some baseball predictions as we wrap up this nonsense here? So let me bring up the schedule again. We're just doing all series. Rivalry weekend in Major League Baseball. Get amped. Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh.
Shaq.
The big rivalry of Pennsylvania.
Shaq. No. I'm going to go with Skeens pitching.
I'm sure. Not today, though.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
It's in Pittsburgh. I'll go Pittsburgh. The big rivalry of Toronto and Detroit.
They're close.
Would it be the Battle of Lake Superior or Lake Michigan? Lake Huron, Lake Erie, the Great Lakes?
Not enough people talk about Lake Huron.
No, they don't.
I'm going to go with Toronto, though.
Looks like a hiker, doesn't it? I'm going to go Toronto, too. Baltimore and Washington.
I'm going to go with Baltimore.
I'll go Washington. Why not? Cincinnati and Cleveland.
I'm going to go Cleveland.
Cleveland rocks. I'm going to go Cincinnati. Miami, Tampa.
The fine city of Miami.
You're just nuts. I'm going Tampa, man. New York.
Yankees.
New York. Yeah, I'm going Yankees. Boston, Atlanta.
Rivalry.
All right.
I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't always work out well for everybody.
Well, Braves-ish. Boston
I'm
Braves.
gonna go Braves.
Atlanta Braves. Yeah, I'm going to go Braves. Which one? Old or current? Okay. Bobby Cox, by the way.
Yeah.
Man, not a good week for Atlanta Legends. Let's go Chicago.
Cubs.
White Sox aren't doing too bad.
No, they're
this
hanging
year.
out.
Yeah. Texas, Houston. Not Houston, Texas, but Texas versus Houston.
I'm going to go Texas.
As in the Rangers?
The eyes of the Rangers are upon you.
Yes. Okay, now you just convinced me I'm going Rangers. Kansas City versus St. Louis.
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Arizona, Colorado.
Arizona.
Dodgers, Angels.
I'm trying to view all these through the rivalry lens, and they're not all hitting, but Dodgers.
That big Padres Mariners one.
Mariners.
I'm going to go Mariners, too. I don't know where I was reading it. Padres have a lot of wins, but their numbers, like,
Right.
it feels like it's going to catch up to them at some point.
Yeah.
So, Giants, Athletics.
Okay. Because I'm like, well, wait a minute. Kind of trying to figure out these rivals. I'm like, well, who do the Giants play? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go Giants though.
I'm going Athletics, and then Milwaukee versus Minnesota.
I'm gonna go Minnesota to lose 2 of 3.
Oh, look at how you did it
fake
there.
out.
I'm going sweep Milwaukee,
Ooh.
the good land. So, all right. Really quick, we only got a couple minutes. Referencing that Miles Turner podcast, just open the mouth and say whatever you want after the season. Apparently, Giannis was a problem too. He said
as far as being late, but as he said, Doc Rivers didn't find anybody, so Giannis just kind of took advantage of that. But it still takes a hit on Giannis, I think. Especially when you talk about accountability throughout the season and this and this and this. Step up and be the leader then, dude. Don't. Yeah.
You or I might like, hey, boss, in here, we're going to cut out early or we're going to show up late. But then don't go and, ridicule other people for not being accountable. If this is all
if it's accurate.
So, but if I'm Miles Turner, why would I kind of go out there and say that, I guess? Because if I'm Miles Turner, I want Giannis to come back next year.
I want him to like me.
Right, yeah.
What?
Yeah, but I'd take a little bit of a hit, I think. On Giannis, so we'll see how it maybe plays out. But are you gonna come over tomorrow, then?
I might.
All right.
I might.
I need to know if I got to bring some equipment.
We'll talk off air.
All right. I'm looking forward to my life's work next week. The podcast of
the 90s NBA centers.
Yeah. This is so cool. Eventually, we're going to have to bring in some forwards and talk about deadlift shrimp, too.
Right.
So,
Oh, yes. Yes.
the Dutchman. Yeah. Remember
think
when we did the draft and you picked Pippen right away because really there was no other, 3, small forward?
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's there really wasn't after that. So, yeah. Because did you pick Pippen first? Or no, I went Jordan.
I think no, and then yeah,
and then you went Pippen.
Because there were plenty of centers and forwards and stuff. So I just said I can't think of another shooting or a small forward. So
because then you went with Clyde. So I think
Clyde
the Glide Drexler, which can more people either look like Bill Wennington playing basketball or Clyde with just a shaved head and mustache. That please,
we need better aesthetics.
We
with
do
with our great athletes. Come on,
we do. Jeff Hornacek with that haircut. Come on. And that free throw style, come on. Sideburns. All right, that's going to do it for us. Make sure you check out our latest episode of the podcast. It'll be up here in a little bit. And reach out to us and vote whose career would you rather have? All things being equal, career-wise, whose career would you rather have? Take a listen to that wherever your podcasts are available. Have a good weekend. Don't forget about Barbecue Fest at the Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds tomorrow. I'll be there for just a little bit, hanging out with our friends from Mike's Star Markets. So, and then don't forget, too, next Wednesday, we're going to be doing the program from Hy-Vee, our good friends at Hy-Vee, because they're going to be doing another breakfast for active military members and veterans as part of the 250th anniversary of Team America. So that'll be next Wednesday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Brewers Twins tonight. First pitch, 6:10. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Have a fantastic week, and we'll catch up with you again Monday morning. We'll see you then.